We welcome you into the space today. We invite you at home and we invite you here in the physical space to just begin to relax and place yourself in a space of awareness, of consciousness, of silence, of stillness, and of breathing. Focus your energy on your breath, deep breaths in and out. I am going to put into the air the scent of Palo Santo, which translates as holy wood, in the recognition and practice of seeing the visual smoke. When we see the visual smoke, it just reminds us that there is air. You can't see the air, but we're breathing it. And that's what's real. Once we're no longer breathing it, well, that's another state of consciousness. But the seeing of the smoke allows us to be able to respect the element of air. The ancients said that it carried your wishes, your dreams, your visions, your prayers into the atmosphere. So whatever that means and translates into for you, at this time we invite you just to simply breathe in and breathe out. Sit a little bit taller in your seats, close your eyes, and tune into that space of consciousness and awareness deep inside. Breathing in, with each inhalation being a little more full. With each exhalation being a little more complete. All the while simply focusing on the breath. Giving yourself the space to release the need to control your thoughts. Giving yourself the space to release all of your self-judgment. Giving yourself the space to exist in the right now. Releasing the need to reflect in the rearview mirror. Simply giving thanks for being. What a gift it is to simply be. Breathing in, breathing out. As we sit in the stillness of gratitude, we give thanks for gathering today in this space. We invite you to tune into the God of your acceptance and understanding, that energy of awareness of being here. If that energy has a name, tune into that name. If that energy has a culture, tune into that culture. If that energy is simply an acronym for good, orderly direction, tune into the space of good, orderly direction now. Feel the gratitude of being present. And as we gather today, we recognize that as we rise, we give thanks to the spirit of our beginning. We are alive, we are breathing, we are grateful to be living. As we move through this day with our purpose in our heart, we remember that a grateful ending begins with a grateful start. And so we are grateful. And as we are grateful in this holy day season, as we are grateful in this time of gathering of family and friends, or as we are grateful for the gathering of those who are watching from across the world on our live stream, we recognize the struggle of our indigenous brothers and sisters on this continent. We proclaim healing for families as they come together during this holiday season, which can sometimes be a challenge. We speak ease. We speak open doors. We speak healing. We speak new possibilities for interwoven relationships. We speak a new tapestry of love and empowerment. We give thanks for those who are on the way here, those who may tune in on the live stream. and we open the door in the divine space for the good that is for us. We send energy of gratitude for the families that traveled here from out of state to be with us today. We speak the energy of grace and power on their return home, that they will be in their purpose and walk in their dreams continually. We speak gratitude in the space here for the entire family of our Nana, our mama, Sister Vanita Holman, as she is in the space of deciding where her spirit wants to reside. And as she is deciding that, as spirit is deciding that, we speak an ease journey. We speak powerful reconnections. We speak gratitude. We are so grateful to have our family reunited in this space today, to have the energy of love, to have the energy of embracing. And we are grateful in the space here today for those of those of us who have that physical space of challenge. We speak complete healing. We speak the release of pain. We speak the release of anxiety, and we just operate today in divine ease. We speak that something is going to be said today in the service that will remind us that we are always connected, that we are always protected, and all things are indeed working together for our good. We speak and proclaim these things in confidence, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. All right. Let us prepare for our pouring of libations as we have some folks coming in. Good to see y'all. To have energy in the space today. As we pour our libations, we recognize that the water today represents the living. We pour into the earth, it represents what happens to our physical earth suits when we no longer need them. And so it completes that divine cycle of life and recognition. We speak and we call upon the ancestors because we recognize that we stand on their shoulders. So we remind us all to think about those who have transitioned to the space of life after life in your family, in your community, the lessons that they taught us. Those lives that they lived may not have been perfect. I think I'm trying to get to the space of that. I'm realizing that I don't think I'll ever be able to obtain a perfect life myself, but it is the journey. And they did their job, which was to get us here. And we are gifted with the power to create a purpose in our lives, to embrace purpose in our lives, such that when we transition to that space of life after life, those who remain will call our names in recognition, in remembrance, and respect. We use the Yoruba word ashe, which means power, which means and so it is, which is a proclamation of doing, of enacting, of respect. And we say that together. So I invite you in this space today as we go to the altar, the pour, the fire, the water, the air, the earth space here on my left, that we remember a couple of people out aloud. One that we want to remember that we all have to have conversations about. Brother Stephen Twitch Boss, 40 years old, Ashe. Lots of talk, lots of speculation. And the answer to why people make that choice to move at their own hand to the space of life after life, that speculation, the answer to that is real simple. I don't know, and neither do you. And it's not our job to know. It's our job to attempt to understand and to commit to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and our loved ones in a place that is supportive. It's a wonderful lesson for us. But the legacy of Stephen Twitch Boss is a powerful one. Beyond So You Think You Can Dance, beyond the choreography, beyond the awards. And we're pleased in this space to be able to say beyond just being Ellen's DJ. We live in a space where proximity to mainstream is seen as the first point, but we have our whole entire lives to not just be an associate, to not just be what people would consider sidekick. I saw an article that said sidekick. I was like, no, Ellen was the sidekick because, when you bring everything is perspective, baby. So his purpose led him to choose to allow her to be in that space, and that's called a symbiotic relationship. So we're all in that space together. So we send that energy for a blessed journey to the brother, and of course, the energy to his wife and family and generations who have to take this opportunity to heal and to be a part of healing for others. Ashe. All right. And so we pour in this moment today and we say, cool water, freshen our spirits. Ashe. Freshen and consecrate this house. Ashe. Freshen our collective ancestors. Ashe. We grant praise to Almighty Mother, Father, God, Divine Source, and all creation. Ashe. Grant to us peace and prosperity. Ashe. We pour to the symbolic 7 directions of the Lakota tradition. To the north, the space where we gain our sense of purpose and being a yes today, being open today, listening today, standing it true north. Ashe. To the energy of the south, where we get our remembrance of who we are and embracing who we are without any apology. Ashe. We pour to the energy of the east and the rising sun, the reminder that no matter what happened yesterday, this is a brand new day. As they say in the Wiz, can you feel a brand new day? Yes, we can. Everything else is gone. We are right now. Ashe. To the energy of the west, because that sun is going to go down and it's going to be dark. But guess what? There's also a light of the moon and the stars that provides guidance for us, that even in the darkest times we can call on and know that we got something, some energy, somebody, either through the stars, through the moon, through the family, through the friends that are always looking out for us. Ashe. To the ground below us, because we got to be rooted. And even as we are rooted, we can't be so rooted that we become so rigid that we can't bend, because it's better to bend than it is to break. Ask the good trees in the storm. Ashe. To the skies above us, that blank landscape that we get to look up into and see our dreams, and just celebrate that we are gifted with the power to manifest those dreams in reality through the actions that we choose to take. Ashe. And out of those 6 directions, the greatest direction is the 7th direction. And it's dead center, that space of the heart. In the chakra system, they would call it the mudra anjali, that space of peace, that understanding, that green light, that all roads connect in our purpose and in our hearts. Ashe. At this time, at home, if you're at home, go ahead and type names into the box so we can celebrate you. Call the names aloud in your households, and in this space, call the names aloud of the ancestors that you'd like to recognize in this moment. Ashe. And to the children in the womb, world, and yet unborn. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. And so it is done. Snap, snap, snap. Yeah, we can give a snap. We can give a snap. I have feeling in that energy there. Today's meditation, I call our attention to. It's on the slide if you are broadcasting in with us at home. It comes from Marianne Williamson. I loved Marianne Williamson. She's a great author, great mind. Actually ran for president the last time, and people thought she was weird because she was talking about frequencies and vibrations and love and all of that. Isn't that something that political spaces can reject good things when people are trying to pull people together? It's crazy. We talk about this. We had this conversation about what is excellence and what you run into when you're working on excellent things. You run into opposition. Because anything that is not excellent is not attracted. It will repel Mediocrity will repel that. So when we're in this space of talking about love, it's our responsibility to infuse the world that we encounter with the love from our hearts. And Marianne Williamson says, in every community, there is work to be done. In every nation, there are wounds to heal. In every heart, there is the power to do it. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Ashe. All right, let us rise to our feet. We're going to sing together our congregational space. Been a while. But we recognize that today is the day that the God of your acceptance and understanding, the source of all that is, was, and ever shall be, has made. Let us rejoice together and weave our voices as we invite peace, love, and joyfulness into our lives, as we speak it, as we sing it, as we feel it. So it is. Peace, peace. And we could sway this way and that way. Smooch, anybody want to help me out on the mic over there? I got to sing it myself. Peace, peace. Come on. Wonderful peace. Lady Kenitha, y'all. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Peace, peace. Oh, peace, peace. Everlasting peace.
Everlasting peace.
Let my peace shine bright. So the world
can see
love,
love, love, wonderful love. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, love, love, everlasting love. Let my love shine bright so the world can see. Some joy, 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 wonderful joy. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, joy, joy, everlasting joy. Let my joy shine bright so the world can see. Let's get some more peace. Peace, peace, wonderful peace.
Y'all sound good.
Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, peace, peace, everlasting peace. Let my peace shine bright so the world, let my love shine bright. So the world, let my joy shine bright. So the world, and let my peace shine bright. So the world can see.
All right, give it up for y'all. Have a seat. Y'all did that thing. Y'all sang that thing. We're going to pass, Sister Kenitha's going to pass that mic to Sister Tashana, and I'm going to pass my mic to Brother Terrell. And we're going to have our statement of infinitude by the Lensleys. Y'all give it up.
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm up here.
Tony, am I right?
How's my lighting? Lighting. Got things. Lighting. No. So get me right. Don't have me looking crazy on here.
Are we better here or just saying? Just saying.
Extra perspective. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
All right, we're going to do our statement of infinitude. You want to start us off?
All right, here we go. As I welcome you, do I start with that? All right. As I welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship, I remind you of our 4 core principles of our gathering. We call it SNAP. The
S is for
spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own understanding.
The N is for
nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit.
And that A is for what?
It's for action, because we take action on our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day.
And one of the most important ones, you got the P, and that's for the what?
The proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruits in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, which we have, relationships, which we also have, careers, something like that, and dreams.
I'm working on it.
We are grateful you are all here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living Spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy.
This is the foundational practice of true interspirituality, where all are affirmed in love energy. I invite you all at home and in this space to stand with me and join in our statement of infinitude.
We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it, because it will only last in a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, we commit to provide the like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religion, faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic backgrounds. All are truly welcome at infinity. We agree and accept that the various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is through application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to
the
our
many
ancient
ancient wisdom terms of affirmations.
Amen.
Amen.
Amin, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe.
Let us
Oh, we
rejoice
did.
and celebrate in gratitude.
Yeah. All right, let's generate some gratitude while we're standing in the space today. Thank you. Y'all give it up for the Lindsay. Big old round of applause. See, when you make the gift of traveling here from Macon, Georgia, and we make the gift of putting you on blast for love. Everybody is saying we appreciate that, y'all. We appreciate that. So it's time to generate some gratitude for ourselves and our neighbor. We're gonna sing good morning, and then once we get a couple of verses out, we're gonna go around and you're gonna say, "Hey, my name is," and something that you're grateful for. One thing is you're grateful for. You'd be grateful that your button got sewed on this morning. I don't care what it might be, but just you find one thing you're grateful for, you see that it's infectious. So as we sing this space, we sing good morning to you. Mm-hmm.
To you. Good morning.
A
Good morning to you. Hey, a good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we say, da 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 good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you.
sure that you're typing in something that you are grateful for. What has happened good for you this week? Make sure you let us know. We love you. We are grateful that you are here online with us every Sunday, all the time. We're together in spirit. Yes. Love y'all. Hey, good morning to you. Sing, girl. Good morning to you. 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 Y'all sounded so good. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey. No. I need applause. Cause you know. I saw you last Sunday sing All I Want for Christmas. Remember?
All right, that gratitude is popping today. It's like you love it when it's buzzing around. Everybody's trying to give. I got to do this myself because I'm just so glad. I'm gonna. I ain't seen my brother physically in a long time. If y'all go out in the lobby, when you go in the lobby and we do after service and we hang out, there's a wonderful bowl. That's an African metal bowl with on a cloth by the lamp. Brother Shabazz brought that back for us from a travel. And it's a community eating bowl. And we haven't used it yet, Shabazz. But one of the reasons why is because we love it. It's symbolic of how people can come together and share. One day we're going to get you to do a workshop on how they do that, how they eat from that bowl. We're going to do something. I maybe make my vegan fake fish or something, and we put it in. Oh, I make a mean fake fish sandwich. You won't know the difference. 2 pieces of white bread, some pickles, and some onions, a little hot sauce on that mustard. Come on now. All messed up. I done made myself hungry. All right, we're going to move through service really quick today so I can get through to that, making that maybe some of that later. So let's share this energy. It was time for this energy to go forward into our sacred moment of giving. It's our giving moment. Y'all hear that at home? That's giving. So as you are jumping up and down in your living room, we want you to be excited because giving is a space that we participate in as spiritual practice. We don't participate from a guilt space. We don't tell you that some universal God is going to curse you if you don't give back and all that condemnation stuff. It raises a lot of money amongst people who operate in a low vibratory space, thinking that you can gamble and make an investment and that you're going to be favored past everything else that you don't do. So in this space, we recognize that it is simply part of the flow of the universe for us to pour back into the spaces that provide us love and spiritual food. And I'm delighted that this is a space like that for so many people. So as we prepare for giving, you can give via Cash App, you can give via PayPal, you can give via snail mail, and you can give via the basket up front if you'd like. If you're recording your finances, we have envelopes in the back. We ask that during the giving period, we might need to make some more forms in the giving period for our standing ovations. But if you have a standing ovation, take the time to fill out that card and bring it up and put it in the red jar here on the side so that we can celebrate the manifestations that you're having in your life. We want to be able to show you that P in proof in SNAP, that you're actually seeing that whatever we're sharing, whatever we're teaching, that great energy that we're generating here is producing good fruit in your life. That's what we're here to do. So as we find that space of good, we recognize that many people in this year have made a transition from operating from a space of lack to a space of abundance and prosperity. And we define abundance and prosperity as a healthy and whole body, working in a job that you love so much that it's not work, relationships that work all the time, and all of the resources financially that you need. Because when we say we don't like money, guess what? Money don't like us either. If you ever been in that position, talk to yourself, Car. If you ever been to your position where you pull out that card in the grocery store and they're getting ready to swipe it. And I'm grateful that mine was the time when they were swiping. Now they're inserting. My mindset changed so that now that I'm in the insert space, I'm like, okay. But back to the early days of swiping, it was them 3 seconds after that swipe when you're like, all caps approved. And you try to play off like, it didn't bother you. It was like, get outside. Oh, get every religion. But again, that operates from a space of lack anyway, because we're saying, well, one day when I get it, I'm going to give. No, you give because we're already receiving. We're in here breathing. We're in here safe traveling. We're in here looking at our family and friends and coming together through all circumstances. So that's what we receive. So we pour back. So at this time, prepare, pour back. And for those of you who are giving now, especially toward the end of the year, it's time for our year-end giving. You will receive your year-end statements every year. Sister Kanitha, the board, we make sure that everybody gets their year-end statements. And I guarantee you every year it's fascinating to hear stories of people who changed the way that they thought about money. And they've seen all of the great things happening in their world. And then you track that and they say, it's related to the giving because I stopped operating in fear. So what a wonderful space for us to give. Now take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. We release any doubt. We release any preconceived notions about lack of prosperity and all of that. We release all of that lack. And instead we inhale the good, recognizing that we are in this space of good. It's a great space. Let's rise to our feet and say together our offertory affirmation, and we're going to actually say and sing that everything is good. Let's go to our slide and let's say it together as a community. O limitless, abundant creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference. And so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken. And so it is. Let us give at this time, after which we'll welcome our visitors and then take the kids on downstairs at that point after the welcome.
Everything is good.
Everything is
Everything is good. And I've got it. There it is. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I got it. Oh, I got it good. the line is. Yeah, live music. We miss it, huh? We miss the live music. Yes. We don't need no music. Because
We really
miss
don't
that
need no
live
music. Oh, we rocking. Oh, ain't nothing like it. But you work a track. I get it to you, baby. We work a track. We work a track. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think it's awesome because, you know, we look and we say as we come along in this journey, you know, if those of you who remember what it used to be like, you know, it used to be everything was like on a CD and that was it. Most of what you hear today, most of what we hear, not only is it live and created, but it comes from a wonderful space of divine source. It's original music. All of this is infinity music. It's been produced from the stories and from the struggles and from the victories. So yeah, and the gift that Reggie gives us is if he's not here, he's recorded some of those tracks. So thank God for technology. So we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. This is a reminder that for this moment, after this welcome, that if you have a standing ovation, please fill out the slip and place it in the red jar over here on the stool so that we can read your ovation. Tony will remind you when he comes up to do announcements that if you're online, make sure that you get ready and type that into the box in a timely fashion. Good morning again, Infinity. All right, my name is Reverend Jeff Obafemi-Carr. In this space, I go by Rev Jeff, and I'm excited to welcome you as the Chief Spiritual Officer of Infinity Fellowship, the place where people make the quantum leap from simple, harsh religious doctrine into profound, expansive, practical spirituality. This is the space where we are welcoming, affirming, and we recognize that it's all our responsibility for our spirituality. So if you showed up online today looking for the shepherd, wrong church, flip the channel. Go get somebody who will put a noose around you and lead you. Not here, baby. We're going to show how you can spiritually practice to grow in your own life. And we're going to go on that journey together. And that's how that goes. So if you're brand new to Infinity, we invite you to hold up your phone, scan the code, take a picture of that code. It'll lead you to a brief form. We'll send you a love note and a gift. If you are at home, of course, that is on your screen at this time. Hold it up so that you can get a picture and go to that site, fill that out, and we will welcome you with love. This may be your first physical time at Infinity, but we like to let you know that we see the real you. We recognize and embrace the real you. If this is your first physical time inside the confines of Infinity Fellowship, we know many people watch online, but if it's your first physical time here, we ask that you stand up at this time so we can just see you. We won't call you out, put you on the spot. Yeah, give a round of applause. Hey, we're gonna be hype, but keep standing a second. I want to tell y'all something. Here's what we recognize, right? We don't see you today as a human being who showed up to have a spiritual experience. We see it the other way around. You're a spirit who is navigating the human experience just like the rest of us. So when we welcome you in this moment, what we say and what we give in our visitors welcome, it is from our hearts. You're welcome to say it back. You're welcome to just receive it. Everybody stand up. Turn to somebody near you. Just turn right to somebody over here. Turn right here. Great. We stay right over here. And we'll clear that space in there to have it. D, could you step over a little bit to the right so the people at home can see the top? Yeah, this way, in and out of the aisle because that's center space. Yeah, either way, you can be right there. That's fine. That's great. That's great. We want to make sure that people can see us. All right, we're good. Because I'm gonna talk to the people at home. So I'm gonna make sure everybody take a look at somebody, connect with them. You know, we get taught in this world to not look people in the eye because they may be ready to fight. But right in this space, we're going to look in the eye because it's important. And as we look in the eye, we're going to deliver a very, very powerful message in the space today. And I'm going to send this, D, I'm going to move you right over here to this spot just so the people at home, can see. I want to deliver to the people at home. I want them to be able to see me. And we don't have enough height on the cameras to cover over everybody's heads, but I appreciate, thank you. We're going to have it. We're going to speak high def. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And repeat after me. I see you. But you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You're a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me. Where I can let you know, if nobody else will, that you are not alone. I'm with you, and you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I know the real you. And I see you shining today. I know you're shining today. So welcome to infinity. Welcome home. Asheo. Give a fist bump to a first timer. Give a fist bump. Give a hug. Pass it out. Grab some coffee as our young people make it downstairs. Hey, hey, hey. Sorry for the silence, online streamers. Let me get to some of this gratitude. I was like, that thing must think we quit the stream. We put up some background music, some of that. Pull up some hip hop or something, Tony, on that. Give me some chill hop or something, Tony, on the stream, and then we'll have that going while I'm reading some spaces here. Yeah, that ought to be good. Give me about 30, right there, 30% or so. That ought to be good. Thinking they at home. Okay, we're gonna scroll up, and I'm gonna read out some gratitude for some folks coming in online. We'll go back wherever you want to pick it, Tony. We'll bring it out. Sister Michelle Mayberry, grateful for being safe after being in a 5.3 magnitude earthquake the other day. Woo! It lasted forever, but I'm good. Wow, if y'all never experienced an earthquake, it is a terrifying reminder that you're not in control of much, right? Nature is going to speak and nature is going to stand. So congratulations, Sister Michelle, for moving through a 5.3. Brother Dr. Jerome Moore, it's good to have you, Dr. Jerome. Grateful to be among the Infinity community. Love you all. Dr. Morris is coming after the first of the year for some exciting presentations. We're claiming that all the way in St. Louis, doing great work down there, exceptional work that has national implications in the field of urban education. Good to have you and the family in the space today. We got Penn Pratt, grateful for fresh produce and clean drinking water. Come on through. Awesome. Gator, my name is John. Brother John, good to have you in. Grateful for the Lord allowing me to be able to be alive and see and hear God's glory. Awesome. We're welcome for you in the space today. Celebrate with you. Sister Tanita is in the house. Tanita from Durham, North Carolina. Shout out to our North Carolina folks. I'm grateful for life and family. What a wonderful generation of gratitude. Brother Johnny Sadler, coming in from the great state of M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I. Do they still teach that? They don't teach that. That's the only way I learned how to spell Mississippi. Till the first time I got lost down there in the middle of the night, and I learned how to find the spelling. I learned how to spell my way to where I was going. But Brother John Lee with the Great Spirit says, I'm grateful for life, health, and family, immediate and extended. Ashe. Goes grateful for you, Brother Johnny. Sister Felina's in the house from Wisconsin. Grateful to be able to log in and connect with everyone. And everybody's grateful to connect with you, sis. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of y'all. The activities coming up at the end of the year, first of the year. More on that later. Brother Ra Moses is in the house. Tallahassee, Florida, in the building. He spelled it out, all caps, all syllables. Tallahassee, Florida, in the building. We're excited. Michelle is good morning. Driving from Dallas right now. Love you. You driving here or you driving? Now, if you're driving Dallas, if you're going in the other direction, you're headed back home to Houston area. But if you're coming past that, then you're heading from Dallas to Arkansas to Nashville. So maybe not today, but definitely, Michelle, we want to see you soon. We love you. We appreciate you. Anything else we have, Tony, in the gap that we need to put up? Okay, good. Sister Tashana Lindsay, in the act of being in two places at once that our Infinity people love. Good. Infinite possibilities. Good morning. Happy everyone is having a beautiful morning so far. Yes, birthday mama. More on that. Sister Keisha, Sunday mornings, good morning. We're seeing everybody. I think Tony's having fun pulling out the people who are in the space streaming with us as well. Denise, welcoming folks online. We thank all of you all. So as you prepare for your standing ovations, as we move into the space, we want to prepare for the message. And before we do that, we want to welcome up Brother Tony Insignaris with our announcements. Y'all give it up for Brother Tony. Yeah. Give me a second. Okay.
I like fire. We on fire. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, Mike. Hot, hot, hot. We on fire. Hot, hot, hot. ha, 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 ha. Woo! That's all down. Oh, man. Say that for New Year's Eve. It's going to be on and popping. But other than that, good morning, Affinity. Yes. And in preparation for Standing Ovations, if you are an Infinite streamer and you have a manifest achievement that you want to report as a Standing Ovation today, go ahead and type it, not now, but right now. Because we baby's kids. We don't die, we. Yes. 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 In my case, I'm mixed, so, I have mixed feelings. What can I say? But I digress. A standing ovation is an accomplishment you have made that we can shout out for you and let us know what good thing you have birthed into the world by typing it in early. So welcome to December, or at least what's left of December. The 12th month of 2020 twins, the year of attainment, and our 8th anniversary. So your 8's up. The definition of attainment is the action or fact of achieving a goal toward which one has worked, and this is the year for the big payoff. Revenge. Woo! So slide to it. You know what I'm saying? Time to live. Okay, I'm done. All right. So every single day, remember to speak aloud our daily mantra for the year, which is? So with that being said, next week is Yoga Sunday, and it will, and I say it will be virtual. Let's snap it up one time. Next week is our moving meditation Sunday service. We call it Yoga Sunday. We will be fully virtual, so online only, so please do not show up because the door will be locked. That's all the locks, you know what I'm saying? So no way to get in, none. So Yoga Sunday has grown in size and scope, and next week you will be able to focus on growing your personal practice from the privacy of your own home. With that said, next week Rev will be following up with last month's well-received power sequence with another practice that will work your body, mind, and spirit. And since we'll all be at home, we can collapse back into bed for a Christmas morning nap. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I was playing. So we look forward to seeing you online next week and have an amazing Christmas holiday, or as Rev taught last week, Chris Mass. Now, it's time for the biggest two events of the year, so get your phones out, get your calendars out, not now, but right now, because our annual New Year's Eve celebration is December 31st. December 31st will mark our annual family and friends celebration, beginning with the annual Atomic Vision Board workshop. Ask anyone, including myself, who has taken one of Rev Jeff's trademark Atomic Vision Board workshops, and they will let you know that the method produces profound results in your life, and I know it has for myself, truly. Every year since Infinity's founding, we have dedicated the end of the year to visioning for the next and bring in the new year with clarity and, yes, fun. Always gonna be fun up in here. So, plan to be here for the evening into the New Year's with the Vision Board workshop, potluck meal, and more. Now, there is nothing like this annual evening, and we can encourage you to invite your family, your neighbors, your friends, and even potential enemies, or in my case, frenemies, as they will be transformed by the evening from the fire ritual to visioning and more. This year promises to be a fulfilling family evening, and we will have activities for all, including young people, within the safety of the Infinity Center. After we bring in the new year and we do hit the dance line, as always, the event is BYOB, which means bring your own whatever, as long as it's legal. So, just practice responsibly with the fun, and remember, we're going to have a special service on New Year's Day. Details are headed your way. There is no admission charge, so it's free 99. And also, but please, bring the following. Make sure you bring old magazines to contribute to our stock of images for visioning, a dish that serves 8 to 10 people for the potluck, and an attitude of gratitude. I always say this, my little recommendation, I say go and get a paper out and just write down whatever you want to get done for this year. Go and start writing your goals out, whatever that is for you. Do it now. That way you're ready, prepared. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a yay, yay? Yay, yay. Yay. So, as the theme for 2023 will be revealed on this evening as well. So, the Infinity Women's Sleepover registration is now live at tinyurl.com for the ladies. It's ladies' night, and it feels all right. And it's ladies' night. Oh, what a... Now, this is the original Women's Circle of Power, folks. The Infinity Women is a woman of power, intelligence, grace, style, commitment, growth, and empowerment. The energy comes from being poured into with generational wisdom, wrapped in sisterly love with like-minded women. Lady Lady Kenitha, as she has for the last 8 years, is inviting you to make your plans to travel from near and far for this powerful celebration of sisterhood and womanhood that will renew and restore you, even as you are given practical tools for living, loving, and just being. So registration is only $75, and I say again, $75. An all-inclusive fee covers the overnight stay here at Infinity Center, catered food, drinks, breakfast on Saturday morning, and supplies for presentation and fun. Here is a word from Mother Kenitha. Get your slots now. Infinity folks received a link this week. Tickets are already being purchased. Honestly, here's a... Oh, okay, I see what he's saying. I was kind of confused. I was like, did she want me to point at the speaker? So I was like, so, I guess, am I passing the mic to her, Brother Jeff? Okay. Just so y'all know, I'm reading off a script here. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going with it. So, but I digress. So here's a word from the Mother Kenitha on here. Get your slot now. Infinity folks received a link this week. Tickets are already being purchased, and there are only 30 slots available. So do not hesitate. Scan the QR code on the slide and go to tinyurl.com/if sleepover as soon as service is over, or you can watch the replay. Your choice. And now I'm going to ask for leading Lady Kenitha Carr and Rev Jeff to come back up to the microphone because it is, drum roll please, Standing Ovations! Wow! Thank y'all so much.
Move your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Hey, did we nail it? We just nailed it, y'all. Give it up. That thing is hard to nail.
I know. We're like,
Whew. That's hard to nail in real life now. That's hard to nail with a record.
okay, our high energy at IF comes from our practice of snap. It is why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys. That's the spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing. We take what we learn and apply it in our lives. That's the action. And if we do these, then every week we see examples of progress in our lives, and that's the proof. So let us pause to enjoy a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. So when your name is called, please stand as I read aloud your manifestation. When I finish each person's ovations, we will all snap our fingers to celebrate. And then at the very end, we're going to give a collective standing ovation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
All right, Sister Denise, stand up for us. Sister Denise, give us some snaps, y'all. Sister Denise has two today. One is she wants to stand because her taste of wine and mimosas and conversations brunch that she hosted at an event center was sold out.
Woo!
Congratulations! Had to put an extra table because more people came in spite of the sold out post.
Yes.
So
Woo!
grateful.
I
And
bought my
continuing in that
ticket.
gratitude, she wants to give a shout out for Fisk University celebrating being the first HBCU to have a gymnastics team.
Woo!
And our children need
Go
to know
Fisk.
that we are on forums and doing forums that have not always been given to people of color. And absolutely, January 7th, first invitational Fisk gymnastics team.
Woo!
Snap it up, Fiskites. We all bragging with you. Thank you, Sister Denise. I'm going to read one online. And again, we're going to find,
Fisk.
we got something special. I can't get them in the jar. Isn't that something? We got
we're
some.
gonna have a great look. We're gonna have a great.
Yes,
the
we do.
overflow.
Yes, we do.
Great
Yes.
collection for the
We're grateful.
year end.
And those are just manifestations we've been collecting over the last few months.
Yes.
So the stuff that we got for years, if we can find the rest of those forms and put them together, we're going to behold those on New Year's Eve and look at them.
Yes.
And we've got enough manifestations that people have had good things happen in their life, and we could put it together literally in a whole book. Isn't that awesome? That's what we want to celebrate. So as we celebrate this manifestation, Tony, I think we have one or two in the chat, and then we've got a couple ones in person that
Yes,
we want to give
we
as standing
do.
ovations. Yes, that's a good. I think it's back down right there. Well, yeah, that's just a moment of gratitude. Well, it's all right. Put it up.
Yeah, teamwork.
Brother Rob Moses in Tallahassee is grateful for the Creator continuing to instill the knowledge of technology of the Neteru, instruments of electromagnetic energy and conductivity. And that energy is, of course, a divine science that comes out of the study of ancient Kemet. So going into the study spaces, we are celebrating.
Yes.
Sister Rihanna, go on and stand up so we can shout you out.
Rihanna.
This is how it happens.
Come on, that is.
Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Y'all can't see us at home. We acting a fool in here. We love it.
I know we don't.
We don't know what it is.
I'm shouting. I don't know what it is.
But anytime you get one of these, you know it's something awesome.
Okay.
Y'all can get to feel the energy in our hand. Rihanna, my accomplishment, good news
You'll
is
take your time.
I got a huge raise this week and some extra income for the end of the year with a bonus. Hey! We're going to shout during the standing ovation.
That is right there. Yes! Huge raise. Yes, God.
Shout
We
to
know
your
about
sister.
that, Lord. When you get a
Point of
huge
personal privilege,
raise.
though. Yeah, you always practice it, but you know, to plant the seeds, you don't always see them immediately. People think you're going to see something. No, things that are manifesting in your life are a result of what you put down and what you nurtured over a long period of time. When people see great things happen for you, they think it's because you just got smart all of a sudden. No, you worked on that degree years ago.
Yes.
You got that master's years ago. You spent time in life learning lessons. And so, yes, when it's manifesting, that's just time. Go ahead, Trey. Come on, get the shout over there. Jay Hizzy, Joshua is in the house.
What,
Stand on up, Joshua.
Jay Hizzy. Yeah.
I officially started my first business engineered merch.
Yeah.
Josh. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Because he can hook you up right there.
And he is hooking it up. He showed me his first check from a client. And I don't know what was more exciting, seeing that he is making his own money or seeing he was making his own money now.
Yes. As an entrepreneur.
As an
'Cause he
entrepreneur.
been working, boy.
As an
My baby be
entrepreneur, we know that.
working.
We know that takes a special kind of energy. Entrepreneur, freelancing, y'all know how that is. Johnny Sattler says, I'm thankful for entering into the home stretch in spring 2023 of attaining my bachelor's degree as an adult learner.
Yes.
Come on back in.
Woo! Yes.
Let me tell you that it don't stop. Tell you that it don't stop. Okay, Destiny Muhammad, harpist from the hood.
Woo!
Bay Area harpist sister, we're gonna connect. She's fabulous. Yes, Destiny is one of 20 composers selected by the San Jose Jazz Fest to compose. It means write the music, y'all, for 2023. Congratulations. I love his creativity in the space today. All right, I think we
Yes.
have one. You wanna?
Yes, y'all.
Oh.
So y'all know it's my mommy, and she's making her transition, and she's in the transition space. So I've been blessed. We were blessed to have my brother come from all the way from California. August. And so it's just been good just reconnecting because we live so far away from each other. We haven't been able to have a lot of time. But we've, when I was little, we've been growing together and it's just been such a blessing. So, yeah, that's my standing ovation.
It's mine too. Mine too, Gus. Mine too.
From California.
From California.
Los Angeles. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the way. Phenomenal artist as well. And went to
Artist,
Berkeley,
photographer.
got master's degree from Berkeley as in art, right? Was it fun? Yes.
Yeah, we got brother-in-law. We got to move you to town
Beast
for a
right here,
while
y'all
for
know.
artists in
Oh,
residency.
and Lakeisha, yes, because art, yes, yes.
We got a painter on each side,
Uh-huh.
so we gonna hold it down. We're gonna paint the
Yes.
landscape of creativity today.
Yes.
So it's awesome. And
Oh, and also it was on Friday we had a youth movie night,
that's what I wanted to.
and it was a success. I have learned many lessons. So you never give kids tons of hot cocoa, marshmallows, candy, cookies, donuts, sprinkles, whipped cream, because halfway through the movie.
Whoa, Lord. I was downstairs. All I heard was that thunder and herd scene from The Lion King.
They
All
lost
I heard
the
was
entire. We had to turn the movie off. That's
Yeah.
the first time in history you don't finish a movie because I was like, yeah, they're gone. Yes. They're like, oh, okay. But it was. Yeah, I know that. No, it was. Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was still going on. But we did have a successful holiday movie, and again,
Oh yeah,
we
this
hadn't been
place
able
was
to
this whole
do
room.
this
There were no
in
chairs, y'all.
forever.
You couldn't step. It was packed full of kids.
It was,
Infinity
'cause we were able to
Kids from
have
the Performing Arts
Academy
Academy. Yeah,
kids
so many
too.
kids in here having so much
Yes.
fun. And we next time we do the grandmama and granddaddy method, which is let them have fun, and then right before they go out the door, that's
Then
when you
you
give them
give
all
them.
the sugar.
Yeah, we learned our lesson.
That's
But it was
stacking up.
great
But it was
because we
still
hadn't done
great.
it since COVID,
Yeah, that's
before
right.
COVID. And so to have a holiday moment and PJs, and we just had a good time. We were able to
Yes.
wear our pajamas and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was great.
they had lost it by that.
They
point.
lost it. That sugar spirit had control of them. There's no way to exercise. There's no way to exorcise
Yeah.
the sugar spirit. You just got to exercise the sugar spirit. So yeah, note to the next movie night would probably be outside on these 5 acres,
So
and
they
then you
can
can
run.
just keep on going.
Yes.
And after 5 acres, you're gonna hit a fence with some junk buses on the Trinity Lane, and you have no choice but to run it out on the way back.
Yes.
So what a gift, what a blessing.
Yes. Oh, and also one more. We did a goodie card from Infinity. We did a goodie card for East for the teachers there because they had won the championship there, and they haven't had any support. Going there. So we did a complete goodie card for the entire staff, coaches, and all of that kind of stuff. We
Tell 'em
walked.
what that is. What's on the
So
goodie
the
card?
goodie card has tons of snacks and drinks, and teachers and staff get to pick out whatever it is that they want, and we get to say happy holidays and all that kind of stuff. And they were just like, tears. We were just all in tears because they were like, no one ever sees all the work that we're doing, with the kids. And even with the kids, they were like, was this for me? I was like, no, it's for your teachers and the staff, don't you think? And they were like, yeah, they do. That's what's up. Yeah, they do. They do a lot. I was like, yes. But that was something that was really special. Yeah. We did that on Wednesday right before.
And I want to shout out Sister Kenitha and Kai who helped, and we got there and organized and went around. Let me tell you, we often get bogged down in intellectual conversations about education and policy, and we end up missing tangible opportunities to do good in people's lives.
Yeah,
so I want to say thank you all to everybody here at Infinity, because what you put into this space allows us to go to Sam's and all those places and just load up a cart, and you don't understand the power of just going into a school as a partner school and looking at the teachers and saying, we see you. And sometimes it's interesting because they'll say things like, oh, which one can I get?
Because we've done it for
that
Hanes as well.
For
And they're-
Hanes,
they-
yeah. What can? Oh, I can get anything.
Yes.
Yes, as much as you want. Thank you for what you're doing with the kids. And it's just like overwhelming. Those little things, those little random acts of kindness go a long way. And I'm so grateful to be a part of a community that prioritizes that. So that's a standing ovation to all of y'all, to everybody, even at home, to see this work going, and to Sister Kanitha for organizing that parent-teacher organization and being there. Because that's what these kids are so excited to see people coming to school, So yes, indeed.
All right.
All right, what we do, Mama?
So at this point, if you shared, you get to have several seats while the rest of us are going to stand to our feet wherever we are in the world and give a standing ovation, okay? So here we go. Yes. So those are the ovations and announcements for today. So it is spoken, so it is received. Ashe.
And so it is. Let us go. Let us prepare our minds for If Speak Sunday. Go and grab that mic. You can put it on mute. Because we're going to sing first. Y'all know we're going to sing. Oh, yeah. So as we settle in for If Speaks, we remind you at home that as we started this spiritual community, if you're new, we wanted to make sure that we created a community that afforded us all an opportunity to grow together. So on third Sundays, we go to the land of higher consciousness. And that land of higher consciousness gives us an opportunity to learn together. So our conversation today is particularly about spiritual community. And Daniel, I'm going to switch over. Well, no, not right now. I'm going to sing this song first, and then we're going to switch over. But we're excited to recognize that who we are in this space, who we are is often an illusion, right? Because we get caught up in external things. And those external things can drive us absolutely nuts. But when we focus on the internal, we recognize that time travel, space travel, all of that exists inside of each and every one of us. And that is a land that we get to access. When our ancestors would sing these old songs, they were taught for a brief period of time, for 300-400 years, that there was this faraway space. But the reason why when they sang these old songs about these faraway spaces that came after you died, and that's when you got your reward, it's because they had a long string of history where they understood what the space was. They didn't have the language. They didn't have the language to recognize that which was within them. So they focused that energy on something external. But now humanity is returning back to understanding that when you say we're going to a land, we're going to a space, it has nothing to do with your physical parameters and where you find yourself. It has everything to do with what your consciousness space is. So we get these songs and we sing these songs and we proudly preserve these songs as we sing them, because in that bridge, we're going to be talking about bridges today. So in this bridge space, it's what got us over. So this spiritual practice of understanding that divine energy is in you, however you interpret that to be, to the space where, particularly in America, that was taken away and replaced with, well, here's where you focus your divine energy. The focus itself is what got us over and got us through. And now that we're reconnecting with our ancient practices, we have a new bridge that helps us, but we still respect those old spaces. Because if you ain't ever had somebody pray for you that had been through struggle and hard times, then you don't know that feeling when you open that door and you feel that energy coming out. They could be praying from a Christian Baptist prayer. They could be praying from they could be chanting a Buddhist chant, a Vedic chant, something from the Upanishads. They could be doing the call to prayer in Islam, but you feel it because they're focusing on their heart space. So let us focus on our heart space. Take a deep breath. Exhale, release. Let us sing together. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound. Oh, all of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. Oh, all of my people are in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. All of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. Oh, all of my people are in that land. Where I'm bound. Oh, there is peace in that land. There is peace in that land. There is peace in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I said, there is peace in that land. There is peace in that land. Oh, there is peace in that land where I'm bound. Oh, I got joy in that land. Said I got joy in that land. And I got joy in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, I got joy in that land. Oh, I got joy in that land. Oh, I got joy in that land. Oh, where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Oh, don't you wanna go, y'all, to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Oh, don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Oh yeah, oh yeah, whoa! Get off me, Mama Car, get off me! Huge man. Did I hear my mama saying, whoa, yes? Whoa, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Dang, I'm going to switch over to this lapel so that I can then, yeah, there we go. So can they be heard? You may have to tap me a little on the internet stream, but we're going to be all right. Y'all, we're going to talk briefly about the power of the bridge in the spiritual gap. And, we live in a world that's very powerful. Yesterday, I had some conversations in my mind with Kanitha about messages and had taken notes. And as these downloads come, I always pay attention to them wherever they are. They may come when I'm having an experience. We got bumped from behind a few weeks ago by a car on Murfreesboro Road, and give praises, we were all okay. But the lady who caused the accident that bumped the car, and it really got messed up, and then bumped us, it messed us up a little bit. She was incapacitated. And so everybody kind of stopped. And so I got out of the car, and since I was all right, the kids were, all three of the kids, three youngest were with me, and I jumped out and I ran back. She was there, airbag had deployed and everything. So I called 911, got on there, talked them to where the spot was, and then I got out there. I should have been thinking, because it was rush hour and it was dark, but I was like, yeah. So I just stepped in the street, started directing traffic. So I directed all the traffic till the people showed up. And all of that, just because instinctually, I know what I want people to do for me if I was in that situation. And it's funny, because I got back in the car after they did all the reports and everything. We're driving home, and Smoot said, Baba? I said, yeah, this is going to be one of your messages, isn't it? I said, maybe, Smooch, maybe. Because messages come from different places. They come from different places. And if you're tuned into the spirit, you can hear a message anywhere. And as you're downloading, I had some wonderful plans. I had this wonderful scientific presentation that had come through to my consciousness space, and it really was about ignition. And that's going to be a message that's coming, because I knew it was a message because it was inspiring when I heard it. And when I saw it, it was inspiring. And then this conversation, ongoing conversation that we've been having, I was in the shower and I was just kind of tuned out. Often the shower is a meditative space for me. I don't know about y'all, but the shower is where you don't hear nothing else. Everybody's tuned out. Nobody but you in there and the elements. And so you can be quiet. You're forced to be quiet oftentimes. And so this message came. And this message came. And I was trying to say, I'm just going to write it down and share it at a later date. But because I was inspired. And then I sat on the edge of the bed, and I could not stop. And I just went and started drawing things. And I knew that this was the time to switch, because when the inspiration hits you, it's inspiration. But there was something about the message that was energizing. And then it was like, no, do this, because we're at the end of the year. And I just stopped talking. So I'm not going to talk a lot here. We're going to talk a lot here. This is bridging your spiritual gap, and the people at home will see this in real time as well, and you get to see this at home now. When we talk about bridging spiritual gaps, I'm blessed to be in my generation now, because as people above me and my elders and teachers have begun to make the transition into the space of life after life, I'm recognizing that these gray hairs are real and that I have to do something with them. So we have all of these fake wars that are instigated, that are promoted, that are generational wars. We got every other war that happens, gender, race, all of that stuff, all those distractions around social constructs. But the reality is we have these false wars, false battles that are created between generations. Every generation exists for a reason. Whether they're called boomers, whether they're Gen X, hip hop generation, that's me, Gen X, hip hop generation. And then we got millennials, then we got Gen Y, or Gen Z, I'm sorry, Gen Z. Gen Y, is that millennials, is that what it? They got these names. Gen Z is the young ones, and then who's getting along with who's not listening to who, all of this kind of conversation. And I tell people, I saw a nice little video clip that was saying, beware of who we call Gen Xers, because we're dangerous. And I agree that we are extremely dangerous. We came of age in a way, in a time where if you wanted something, you had to go to the library and find it. Yes. And if you wanted to show yourself approved, you had to study. Yes. And if you said something, somebody said, where'd you get that from? Yes. What no absorbing stuff? You said, what's your source? Mm-hmm. When you stood up and talked, you had to cite your sources. And that's what it was. You multiple sources. If you wanted to be heard, if you wanted something to be proven, you had to do that. If you wanted to make money, you started a business, or you went out and you met people hand to hand. You learned how to interact with people. There was no social influencing. There was none of that. It was, if I want to make money, I'm either going to put my hand on the ground, or I'm going to put myself in that room and have this conversation. And I'm going to build a relationship eye to eye, and we're going to make this thing happen if I want to survive. And when you introduce yourself with your lineage. Mm-hmm. You know, if you stood up and you said, I am a teacher, you said, I'm a teacher because I came out of the tradition of a Damian McDonald Williams. I came out of a tradition of a W. Dewey Cox. I came out of the tradition of an H. Devereaux Brady. And this is what I've learned from them. And that's how you introduce yourself, or you weren't heard. You weren't paid attention to. What happened then is something very dangerous. We were still relatively young when the internet was created. So we had the old school understanding of personal relationships. Now we had this new little portal. And we learned everything. And back then they used to teach you how to code, not code, they used to teach you programming. Like Fortran and all that, if then and all of this hard, weird stuff. And if you were going to talk to a computer, you had to make it do all this stuff. And if you missed one little line, everything was messed up. All of that. But it gave you this wonderful bridge space where you had that old school energy, you had the new school technology, and it was just awesome. Now the generation before us, they got lost in it. They couldn't, the flip phone, they didn't get that. All that, they didn't get that. And so, but they had the generational wisdom that they gave to my generation. And we were in the space where when you walk into the room, the elders are talking, you just sit on the floor. You don't contribute back because you're trying to absorb something that is going to be very, very powerful for you. And you're absorbing from a space of wisdom, because you all know, Tessa, make sure it's still connected here. You all know that you've got information. Oh, let me screen share it, Tony. All right. How about that? All right. Now we working now. So, right, you got information which everybody can have. That's just accessible to everybody. Then you got knowledge, which only a few people have, because everybody doesn't absorb the information. The information is readily available now, either whether you're reading it, like in the old days, you go to the library, or if it's on the internet, it's all out there, but it takes that extra step as a human being to go from the information stage to absorb it into knowledge. Knowledge is what you can repeat. So if you can repeat that, you know, the Great Pyramid of Khufu is 1.3 million stones, each stone weighing 3.5 tons each on average, lined so that they're in the stars of Orion's belt, the three major pyramids. Guess what? You have absorbed that information and you now have knowledge. Knowledge is not the end pursuit of victory. The third pursuit is wisdom. And wisdom is when you produce fruit. That's why in the old, that ancient tradition of teaching is you talk with your actions, you talk with your fruit. You don't talk with what you say. It's popular now to talk with what you say. So people will listen to something really great, and then they'll figure out a way to rewrite it and then just put it back out and act like it was an original idea. And then it does not produce the same fruit for you. It does not. That's the proof. Right? And the proof is, how is it working in your relationships? How is it working in your community? How's it working in your family? If you're looking at the people who are you in charge of, are their lives being enhanced? If they are, and if you can put them out there, you've reached that space of wisdom. Now, here's what's deep, because now we are at a new crossroads of human history. And this crossroads of human history is changing dramatically. Each one of us is on this path. And as we are on this path, we are on a path to enlightenment. This little fella, you've noticed this fella, this lady, this person, this individual. If you notice some things, this person here on the left is smaller than this person on the right. This person on the left is actually who we are when we start our journeys in life. Hopefully we reach the path of enlightenment. Enlightenment makes us into a being who sees things from a bigger perspective. We all have this desire to be enlightened. Whether we are on a journey studying with people in book clubs, whether throughout human history we are great builders, whether we are great warriors, whether we are Siddhartha sitting underneath a tree to retain enlightenment through meditation and understanding the difference between the poor and the elderly, whatever that is, we are on this path. Here's what's unique. In the Generation X and before, especially for the last several centuries, this path was encouraged through traditional space. And that traditional space was church. It was mosque. It was synagogue. That's what got you there. You got with your people, all your kids, and you all walked on this space to enlightenment. The reason why it was a space of enlightenment, the bridge, it was what we had at the time. The reason why it was so powerful, because in the church, in the mosque, in the synagogue, as a person, you had community. And what did community give to you? Community of love gave you a space that you may not have been afforded in the real world. If you've ever been in a church environment, deep in a church environment like I was, a church environment, you will see the biggest fights that you will ever see in the leadership meetings for the smallest things. I will not speak to choir rehearsal and that traumatic memory I had of a certain church in North Nashville that was on the news in the 90s because the choir got into an argument with each other and they got into a gunfight in the parking lot. Praise God. Praise God. All things work together for the good, including this semi-automatic 9mm. It all works toward the good of those who are called according to Buster Cap. But when you are in space, when you're in the space, right? But aside from those things, the reason why is because, and I had to look in reflection on this, you have somebody who may be in a position where they have to do menial labor most of their lives, Monday through Friday. They have to clean somebody's house. They have to sweep somebody's yard up. They have to be degraded. They have to be talked down to. But in a church, they are deacon so-and-so. They are mother so-and-so. They're reverend. They're pastor. They're bishop. They get to walk in and be seen. Little children get an opportunity to be around other little children who they grow up with. You see people, we all have people, whatever our spiritual communities were, we look at people, we see them again, and we start telling stories. And all of them ain't beautiful stories, but we got stories. We talk about singing in the choir, sitting in the back row, standing on the junior usher board, counting the money for Sunday school, running around in the backyard when they were doing construct. All of these are core memories of hopefully safe spaces. We know there's a lot of trauma attached to those spaces too, and that plays into what happens next. So guess what? This worked generationally, but something happened on that path from info to knowledge. What happened is the information age. And in the digital information age, when you talk about millennials, when people say millennials, and I don't say that in a pejorative way, I say millennials and Gen Y or the coming Generation Z, all of that. When you see them, something unique happened in that space. Now, all of a sudden, they weren't depending on church to get the information. Bless you. Matter of fact, there are a bunch of things that happened in the church that they said, miss me with this. I'm going here today. I'm sorry. And then once you start get going on, you get down, you start remembering everything. You just start dot. A lot of people saw that, right? And here's something else. Since I learned not to fight spirit. Spirit, speak. Come on through. Here's what got most people, because once you got access, once somebody was given access to information plus knowledge, something else happened. Once you got information and knowledge and things began to make sense, you realize what didn't make sense. You started hearing people, you got information and knowledge, and you became aware of things. And you start saying, wait a minute, they've been telling me that I got to wait until I'm dead to be successful and to have a great life. Meanwhile, the person who I'm submitting this report to is living their best life. I'm struggling in labor and they going off on their yacht on the weekend and doing, wait a minute, I got to wait for my yacht? I got to wait for my golden street and my slippers. I got to wait for all of that. And somehow I get into this space where you're saying to me, basically, this life is not worth anything. So then why am I here? Leadership doing all right. That's a nice car. That's a nice house. That's a nice everything. But the superstition did not make sense. The guilt did not make sense. The people in the new generation, we started saying, and I'm on that bridge, so to speak, of that new generation. But new generation folks, especially going forward, they're not going for it anymore. And so what happens with the traditional church now and traditional religious spaces is now there's a bunch of visioning processes that are happening now. How can we get them back? Let's come up with some ideas for how we get them back. Okay, let's dress down.
Come as you are.
Let's get some guitars. Fog machines. Starbucks. Lasers. As one of my production friends says, $1.5 million LED screens. So that we can transport ourselves. When we talk about the Holy Land, it appears behind us. I'm not going to lie, it'd be nice if we had Infinidome to be talking about, when you travel down the 3 steps of the Temple of Seti I, and then it's just there. And everybody who ain't got their money right yet to go, they can still be in the temple. There are great things to technology. So you got that. Let's do outreach. Let's do missions. Let's do a 30-minute service. Let's do college. Let's do teams. Let's do all that. And it's still not working. Because younger people and even enlightened people are saying, I'm not going. I don't care. Anybody who's watched from a traditional environment here, I've been in lots of consulting organizational meetings, and I do organization consulting here. It's not the tricks. That's not what drove people away. What drove people away, no matter what you do in this space, what drove people away is society evolved, but the theology did not. I don't care how much you make an outreach to marginalized populations. If you still believe that you rule over them, people ain't going. I don't care how much you try to tell people we are accepting of our LGBTQIA plus community. I don't care how many times you try to sell that. When people do come to the space and they get condemned and criticized because of the theology, they're still not going to come. I don't care how accepting you say you are of diversity. But when a certain number of people come who do not fit the mainstream, and the first thing you do is launch a satellite church just for those people so that you can maintain your 80-20 balance because you're uncomfortable being in the minority, because your theology tells you that you are the right and righteous one, they ain't coming. I'm not coming. That's the space. So in absence of this, and this is where it gets interesting. This is what happens when it's interesting here. Because this human desire that we all have to make it to the path of enlightenment is a natural desire. We're going to find a way to do it. We're going to find a way to get there. And one of the things that I will appreciate about the new generation is they're going to look for ways to get there. Now, this is the path that I found. because I did not have an established bridge, because I was like, I'm not going. Once I got information and knowledge, what happened is I said, you know what? Let me try to get there by myself. And then I evolve into the rocky paths. Oh, and you read some books along the way. Then you start a book club. Then you start watching some videos. You know, you might start a yoga practice. Wait a minute, I'm gonna be bad if I don't draw a real, I act like I do this. Yoga mat, little man. I'm gonna go for Warrior 2. I'm gonna get online, and everything that I've been able to absorb from this, I'm gonna make some videos on it. And this is no age stuff. This is beyond generational. This is cultural now, because this is what happens culturally. I'm gonna make it, and I go through all these ups and downs. And I get some feelings hurt along the way. I try to follow some folks and they hurt my feelings. And then I have to go within and I have to learn. I have to study. I have to try to get on this path of enlightenment. I have to continue to seek. Sometimes I start organizing in the community. You know, I get all of that. That's a black power fist, you know, whatever it is. I start my flag. I go to Kwanzaa, you know, I learned how to do Kwanzaa candles, and I do all of this. I become an expert. I'm doing all of this because I'm seeking this enlightenment space. Now this is beautiful because it's necessary. Because again, we're talking about the heart. We're talking about what we want naturally. We're talking about this space where we have this intense desire to get to this space. Now, this used to be the bridge that went there. Now it's become an individual journey. And that journey, if you've ever been on it, is really lonely. It's really lonely. And we talk about this journey in context of the lesson that I teach in Ancient Wisdom, the context of the Ankh, right? That space of the Ankh. And I owe it to the Ankh to make sure I do it right. Ooh, show y'all I used to be an artist. Gus, don't be mad at me, man. I'm sitting here with Gus and Keisha, and they like, that cartoon drawing, he needs a little more shadowing in with the pencil tool. Well, now I gotcha. But this path of enlightenment, right, with this circle of knowledge is 360 degrees that represents the womb, this area of firmament between that space. And this is a lesson that I've taught, which is the open door. And then this path here, right, which is a path of the individual. It's the birth canal that you emerge from. That's why it's a symbol of life, but it's also the journey. And the journey, which is actually kind of good. It begins here, but if you notice, the Ankh gets narrow as it reaches this space where you cross over into enlightenment. That's because when you go on this journey, you might be with people. Wide is the way, Matthew 7, 13, 14, I do believe. When people say, how many people you have at Infinity? Man, you have people. You know what? The people come when they need to. I'm not counting numbers. I'm not bragging. I'm not clicking. I'm not on there because wide is the path. Narrow is the way. I tend to, my dad used to say, so I don't like crowds. When it's a lot of crowds, a lot of times that's a lot of people not thinking. So when you get to that path, right, the more individual the experience becomes. So it's natural to have individual enlightenment, but you also get hurt when you're on this path and you're traveling. The reason why is because aside from this concept of money and tithing and all of that, I'm going to go to this bridge of church, or let me just say religious or spiritual community. One thing that you can say about spiritual community is that its mission, if it's operating well, it's mission driven. Now we know with the concept of prosperity gospel and all of the brothers and sisters brought the street game, the pimp game out into the church, and they brought that out, and it made sense because, people like to be seen. You can do that, extract money. But in all senses, whether it's in ancient times or modern times, that spiritual community is mission driven. This individual journey in the modern age, it's money driven. You want to find your community? Oh, you're going to pay. You're going to pay for that Kwanzaa celebration. When I was coming up, Kwanzaa was always a free celebration. You took up a donation at the door. But Kwanzaa, we monetized that. Ooh, Western capitalism. Come on, let's spiritually enlightened folks. We're going to practice that Western capitalism. Well, you got to buy these books. You don't loan books unless you trust somebody. Looking at people I loan books to. Who I trust. All right. You got to pay for access to that website and to those downloads if you want to, and if you don't want those ads on YouTube, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that yoga class. You got to pay for that meditation class. You got to pay for that enlightenment class. You got to pay for the self-care class. You got to pay for the retreat class. You got to pay for the newest video. You got to get a crew so that you can tape your video that you made from the video that you saw. You got to pay your dues for that fee there. You got to make sure that, I don't even remember what that is, but you're going to pay for it, I guarantee you. Because it's financial, it's driven. It's driven. If you want a reading, you got to pay for the reading. You can pay for the calories. You can pay for the cards. You can pay for the chain. You can pay for everything. Because there's always somebody in this space who is cash driven. And there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes you have to piecemeal it. I had to piecemeal it. I had to buy. But when you reach a space where you get into this valley by yourself, it can frustrate you. And it can confuse you because everybody's not on the same path. Everybody's saying, come over here, come over there. And you're wandering around like this pin until you reach a point where you throw your hands up. And this is exactly the reason why people got frustrated. And it's another reason why people get into a space of frustration. Because when we're on the path of enlightenment, and this is the beauty, if it sounds like a sales pitch, that's on you, not me. Because my mom and dad say you open your mouth, you put your brains on display. So if you see it and hear it as a sales pitch, there's nothing I can do to stop you from seeing or hear that. So I'm just saying, based on what we've done in this space of recognition, that traditional spaces are not working anymore for people. People are shocked when they come into Infinity because they like, wait a minute, where's the pitch? Wait a minute, I haven't been here in a couple of weeks. How come nobody knocked on my door and showed up? How come the deacon didn't call me at work? We got to keep up with your grown. If you want to come and learn, we're here. If something happens, call us. We're there. All of that. The power of spiritual community is that it provides you protection. It provides you support. It provides you love. And most importantly, it provides you consistency. Because even if you take the path of individual enlightenment, which in my book you still have to do, that is still a path that you take, individual enlightenment, then questions arise. You reach the promised land of enlightenment. Congratulations, you've absorbed the information, you got the knowledge, you even got some wisdom along the way because you're pouring into spaces. How do you pass it on? Because if you're on this path, you begin to ask the question from all the various spaces that you've had to put it in. All of those various points that extracted, and yes, you got something out of it because you got smarter. The question comes to the power of community. Community is ritual. That's why those old folks were so consistent. They went, and I'm talking about the best attributes. I'm not going to spend time doing like, my friends in the Ethical Society. They say, well, we're not for religion. We're just for science, and we want to move religion out of the way. But then every conversation that you have is about what's wrong with religion. Move it out of the way. Tell me about the composition of the stars and how they match my biological makeup. Let's do that. But let's not spend a bunch of time continuing to tear down. So I'm not going to tear down. I'm going to tell you that the power of ritual is going to be consistent. That support is going to be there for the 4 areas of your life. If you've taken a class with me, you know those 4 areas are birth, initiation, should you choose marriage or companionship. You got that? And one that you do not choose, that you ain't got no control over. And that's when you check up out of this world. So I always ask people, when you're talking about community, community bridges a gap. Find a spiritual community, because guess what? Spiritual community, if it's mission driven in the right way, it's going to be there for you when you ain't got no money. Because a mission driven is 24 hours. Yes. I ain't sharing no business. But when we get that call at 2 o'clock in the morning, we can't say, I'm doing self-care right now. I'm on a retreat. Book my schedule on my Linktree and we'll get back with you tomorrow. I got to put that wrench in the trunk and go out and do what I need to do. When somebody's in a space where they say, my child needs this, that's their birth phase. I don't have to pay for that. When it's time for initiation and our young people need to learn, I don't have to pay a fee for that. When it's time for get married, I don't have to get, and this is cool because I know younger people doing this now. We get online, do the ordination through the universal church, because I think my friend would be cool and they would marry us. It would be a whole lot of fun. We would do that. And that's fine. They will perform the wedding, but will they be there for the marriage? Will they sit down with you and talk through counseling and say, here's what you're going to face? When you're standing in each other's throats, will they stand in the gap and pull you apart and then put you back together? Will they give you advisement along the way when they show up when the times are hard? That's the value of community, because community is not money driven. It's not fee driven. And this is one I get a lot. I'm glad to get a lot. Reverend Ed Sanders, I send a shout out to you, because Reverend Ed Sanders is one of my advisors when I started this space, because he started a non-traditional space called Metropolitan Interdenominational Church. And he told me while my last conversation, one of my recent conversations with him, he said, well, looks like you're the one. I said, I'm the one what? What are you talking about, man? We were swapping some stories. He said, and he's got that wonderful rich voice. He said, you're the one. You're the one. I said, Rev, what does that mean? And he explained how, because churches, traditional churches in Nashville were so judgmental and so harsh with people and so harshly dogmatic, that if somebody wanted to be funeralized, because this is when it comes down to your rituals. Who does your rituals? Right? You can pay somebody to name your baby, but are they going to show up and say, I'm giving this naming ceremony based on these principles that come from this lineage, so that you can be in the tradition of what you want? When you're coming from a space of initiation, I'm teaching this based on the practice of what I've seen raise the successful kids. When you get to that point of marriage, you're saying, here's what I know. We just now start answering questions. We've been in 15 years. We just now answering questions for people. And we say, here's what we know works. And here's what we've learned from elders who it works. But you're not going to learn something from a 20-something-year-old who's never been in a relationship and doesn't know the hardships, ups and downs, who just wants to have a great wedding ceremony. So when you get to that wedding space, and then we'll get back around to that, but that wedding space ends up focusing on an elaborate event. And I tell you, I have been to weddings where people did not focus on that energy of putting themselves together. And it was the most elaborate party I've ever seen. And people talk about it's $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And then 7 days after the wedding ceremony, what are we doing? How did we get there? Why did we get? Well, did you have this conversation before? No. I spent 2 years planning this ultra party that would have been better if I would have spent 2 weeks planning this ultra lifetime. and asking the tough questions that need to be asked so we can be successful together, so that we can reach this space of enlightenment together. Then when we get to the space of death, which is I've been in, and Reverend Ed Sanders told me, and this is why I understood him then. Reverend Ed Sanders buried James Earl Ray. His funeral was held in Nashville at Metropolitan Interdenominational Church. And for those of you who don't know, James Earl Ray is a man convicted of killing Martin Luther King. Now, I can't tell you there were thousands there to pay tribute, or that Reverend Sanders didn't catch hell for doing it. But he said, my mission-driven ministry tells me that I must be there. I must be present. And if a family asks me to do something, then I must do it because I'm called to do it. I don't get to judge and pick and choose. So he looks at me and he says, you're the one. I said, what? I've been wondering who was going to take this mantle up. When people in traditional spaces look at people and say, well, I don't like your gender, or I don't like your lifestyle, and put it in quotations, you can't get married here, you can't be a part of this congregation, they're going to come to you. And when somebody makes the choice of taking their life, and the church is not going to bury them, they're going to come to you, because I've been that guy for the last 40 years. And I'm glad to see you, because you're going to be that guy. And I looked and I said, you know what? So be it. Because we're in this space to love. We're in this space to be mission driven. We're in this space to provide community. And that's what it is. That's when I talked about it, I referenced Michael Beck was saying that community brings immunity from lower frequency. And what I say is community provides herd immunity. So you get herd immunity from a lot of the things that you go through, so that you are supported through this entire struggle, through this entire space, so that you can create the generational memories that are needed through a bridge. So if you do not have a bridge, I don't know why that sounded like I was about to say, the doors of the church are open. Let them, if you can come at this time, that's my old Baptist train in there, Gus, is coming out of me. They say, if you are looking for a place of all, no, we're not. But what you're looking for is consistency. So when you find a spiritual community, you got rituals that remind you who you are. You got support for family. You got companionship. You have understanding. And you have something that is so important. Core memory. Our core memories come, as we're young right now, they come from moments of transcendence. When we get to a space of understanding and enlightenment, those core memories. I'll never forget the first time I sang a solo when I was a little kid in church. I didn't even know what I was singing. I didn't understand the words. I didn't understand anything. I was singing. I was an 8-year-old with the senior choir. Oh, let me define the senior choir. Everybody that's 70 and up. So I wanted to sing, and in my church, they wouldn't let you sing at a youth choir until you were 13, 12 or 13. So I'm this little boy who wants to sing, and I didn't get a chance to sing with the teenagers. And so they said, well, come sing with the senior choir.
I know that.
I was an old soul. So I'll never forget, I was senior choir, and it was a spiritual. I didn't understand the spiritual, but it was when the stars begin to fall. Jubilee singers. My Lord, what a morning. My Lord, what a morning. My Lord, what a morning. When the stars begin to fall. And here I was. You hear the trumpet sound to wake the nations underground. I was a tenor back then. Listen to my God's right hand when the stars begin to fall. And people went nuts. People went nuts. They went nuts. It's a core memory. It's a core memory. In the first play that I did, Robert Smith and In God's Name's Players, he started a theater troupe at school. And this was a guy, Robert Smith and Barry Scott. They started this troupe for the kids there. Barry's a great actor, Robert Smith an attorney. They just, they started a group and we were doing that. So I was a little boy playing Pontius Pilate in the Easter play. And so they bring Barry before us, big grown man, beard, everything, playing Jesus. And I come out with a sheet wrapped all around me. And I had made a crown out of some leaves that I got off a bush. I was so glad that they weren't poisoned because I didn't know anything about herbs. I saw that little thing. I put it around a coat hanger. I came out, "Art thou king of the Jews?" I was speaking with authority. That's my low tenor voice back there. "Art thou king of the Jews? I am finished. Wash my hands of this just person. See ye to it." Little Pontius Pilate go walking off, tripping over the sheet. Everybody clapped. Oh, baby, look at that little Pontius Pilate. Oh, mama was deacons. Deacons come up, just they lie to you in a beautiful way. Even if you mess up, they lie to you. "I see you there, little fella. You stay, that's all right there. I see you. Speak that up there." They gas you up. But it's from a place of love. But guess what? When all the classmates in the 3rd grade and 4th grade at Percy Priest Elementary School, where I was one of the only few blacks on the black bus that was stopped in, when they were shocked to all creation, when I went in and did the audition and I ended up being the first little black kid to sing the solo with the choir, then they did the chorus show every year. I'll never forget, it was Karen Carpenter. That's why I love Karen Carpenter so much. And what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. They were like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to give you the solo." But by that time, I was like, I'm singing church on Sunday, but this ain't nothing. I got the lead play in 4th grade of the narrator piece that every kid wanted about the story of Nashville. I got it. Me and Kristen Weeks. Her father was chairman, superintendent of the school board, Metro Nashville Public Schools. Me and her. First black kid to get that role. I don't say that in pride, like, "Oh yes, I'm the first." We put too much value on that first thing sometimes because it's a proximity thing that we value. I was just happy to get it and represent my family because guess what? I've been playing Pontius Pilate. Narrating a script, that's nothing. All of that came from the space of community. Gave me the pride and the core memory that bridged the gap for spirituality. And that's the superpower here, y'all. That's the superpower that community has. It gives you a space of memory. It gives you a space of ritual. If you absorb any information and knowledge from Malidoma Patrice Somé, he's got an awesome book called Ritual. He's got an even more awesome book called Of Water and the Spirit. I invite you to all read it. That thing will have you, man, and will have you going in. I will reread it next year. 2022, I'm not rereading it. I'm not right now. Y'all know we're in that space where we are, my mom-in-law, Other Nana, is making that journey. Her spirit is deciding that it's time to go. Yeah, it is. That's why I looked over here because I didn't see my box of tissue. I was like, if I go there, somebody got to throw Tony or Joshua, give me one back there. There's one in the back there. Somebody got it. Oh, yeah, thank you, Rihanna. Ooh, you good. I could have had that.
Not with all these candles.
Hey, I already knocked the water down last week. We don't need the fire and the air and the earth this week. Yeah, Michelle got the earthquake, so we count that in, and we'll call this fire and let that be alone, and we breathe in the air. We got all the elements here. But we're really in 2022 dealing with, understanding what that means. Because, Queen Mother Carr, my mom went in January. So we're dealing with one calendar year, both mamas, one calendar year, both grandmamas. But that space of transition is made so much easier because we have a space that reminds us that we're not nuts. So that when things like that happen, people show up. People show up. And I'm just going to take that space. When you transition, when you have a spiritual community, and I encourage you, look, if it's infinity, great. If it's not, get some other space. A space that is going to pour into you, not extract. Because the spaces that extract will not be available to you because they don't often operate from a calling for a larger community. When you can't pay the fee, will they still show up? Because when you have this transition space, I ask certain questions. Who's going to do the program? Who's going to do the obituary? Who's going to talk you through insurance? If you don't have insurance, who's going to do your GoFundMe? Who's going to do the planning? Who's going to do the travel? Who's going to do the repast? Who's going to do the counseling? Who's going to support the kids when mama goes on? Who's going to support the family when things go wrong? Who's going to show up at the school when something negative happens and you need that support for that child? And you need, we've been blessed to be able to go to schools with folks. Core memory. I'm having that core memory right now. I'm writing his name. Reverend Harold Simmons. Ashe. He's an ancestor. I got arrested in front of my entire high school. Did something dumb, but it wasn't that daggone bad, Terrell. I was arrested. It was a prank, man. And everybody did the pranks every year. So we did this. I did this prank. I was participating. I was glad because I've been the first in a lot of ways. I was the first kid of color to participate in this prank, senior prank. And it just so happens I was the only one that was pulled out in front of the school after everybody else blamed it on me. Because I was following. That's what I was doing. I was following. I was trying to fit in. And so because I was following and trying to fit in, of course, I was left holding the bag. I didn't learn that lesson then. I didn't know then. I was bouncing along thinking, oh, everything is all right. I could change my voice up when I needed to go on the choir trip. I was going to fit in. But that moment when they pulled that police car up in front of that school right after I had done awards day and I got my music award for being drum major of the band and all of that. And they came out and all I looked up and saw in Green Hills at Hillsborough High School were faces pressed against the window. The entire school looking out of the front. Never seen anything like that. Carry them away. Took me down in handcuffs, locked me in a building, a juvenile Howard school. It wasn't a great building that it is now. Now, I haven't been inside a personal cell in the new place across the bridge, Demetrius, with the glass pyramid on it. No, man, I was in old Howard school, not pre-renovated. Musket, dusky, asbestos, all of that. Yeah. Metal slab sticking out of the wall, some kind, I don't know how they did it, a combination sink, water fountain, and toilet all in one piece. No windows, one of those little sliding things. I swear, the last time I saw the Count of Monte Cristo, the first time I saw Count of Monte Cristo movie, I was like, I was in that cell. It wasn't 14th century France either. It was your 20th century Nashville. And so I'm in there, and I get bold and I say, because I watch a lot of TV, I want my phone call. I'm bucking up. I want my phone call. I didn't know who to call, Gus. I just knew I needed a fucking phone. He said, okay. Guy said, okay, come on. Took me out. I was like, damn, who do I call? So when you don't know who to call, your sense of logic kicks in. So as a now almost grown man, Brother Craig, I'm 17, so I'm thinking I'm pretty grown and independent. So I do what any grown and independent young man would do. I call my mama. Jill Scott told a lie. Jill Scott was like, you always answer my call when you call. Mama didn't answer my call when I called. She wasn't able. And we didn't have answering machines, Generation X, back then. None of that. Right, none of that. If they weren't home, you just didn't talk to them. And so I called to work. They wasn't there. My daddy was off working, cleaning some of that. So the sun started going down. It was getting dark. I couldn't get in touch with anybody. I was terrified. All of that bravado went out the window. I tell the story. That's when my entire life changed as a young black man. That's when I looked around me, and instead of dropping and doing 50 push-ups and doing all that stuff that I saw in all the prison movies and all that stuff, and walking around and tapping on the wall and scratching, JC was here and all that kind of stuff. All of that went out that narrow little slit of a window. I fell on my face and cried, Lord my God, why hast thou forsaken me? If you get me out of this situation, I swear by my own hand, you'll never find me here again. I don't have to have a story of spending time in jail. I don't have to wear that as an education. I don't need. Once you have that feeling that there ain't nobody there for you, once you have that feeling that there is nobody there for you, your life will change. But out of everything that was not there, out of every single thing that happened that night in that moment, out of every single thing that went out the window, there was a tap on the door. And that tap on the door was the officer in charge of locking up people, managing people, whatever they called it back then. And he said, come on. And I was terrified. I said, come on, where we going? I'm watching TV. They about to take me to that little room back here in the back, put some bars of soap and some towels, it's about to be Full Metal Jacket on me. So I'm terrified, but I'm trying to be hard. So, I done sucked it up. I done stood a little taller. I wasn't tall then. I'm 6'2" now. I was 17. I was 5'6". I grew after high school, but I was like, so I sucked it up, had my heart beating out my chest. And I made it through the door, and I came through the door, and there was an officer of the court who worked Monday through Friday at juvenile court. And that person was Reverend Harold Simmons from Kane Avenue Baptist Church. And in that moment, he said, come on, I'm taking you home. He was a man who was associate minister at my church. And when I saw him around the corner, show you how it is with you, I was horribly embarrassed. But my embarrassment was outweighed by my delight. What? Every song, every folk song was coming out. Country road, take me home to the place where I've been. I couldn't contain myself. I was like, oh my God, I'm going home. I was original 8-ball, Josh. I was like, is a should I save? I want to be saved. I was everything. But that alone, in that one moment, Reverend Harold Simmons became the personification of that community. Because there were 10 kids in that cell, in that row, that didn't have somebody, that didn't have a connection, that as much as he said, he couldn't do for. And when we got home and he explained it, they said, usually if they can't get in touch with somebody, You're there. But he told them, on my word, let him go with me. Come and go with me to that land. He said, he looked at me and said, tell them, on my word, release him with me, and everything's going to be all right. And everything was after that. And so I look at how all this played out. And I encourage us as we move to this closure space of the conversation, open it for questions, comments, and observations, that we have this bridge. We have this opportunity. Find this space of community, because then every other thing is an enhancement. And when those things run out, you still have somebody to go back to. You still have people who have made it to this space, because this space with community is full of people. They're full of Reverend Harold Simmonses. They're full of Lady Davises. They're full of Sister Jenny Robinsons. They're full of all of those little core memories that are being created. And when you find yourself in that space, their arms are long enough to reach down and grab you when they see you going into low spaces. Because that's what spiritual community is, and that's how we bridge the gap. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Ashe. All right. Online, Tony, you'll have to read off any questions or things that come online, because the monitor is over there. And this chair is comfortable, and we're going to finish out the service in it. Sister Kenitha, thoughts? I'm going to start with you, because these are conversations we've been having for a long time about this superpower that comes in the blessing and the gift of community. You've been in a lot of communities in the past. What have you found that are common things that are good, and what kind of things do you not miss anymore? Grab that mic. You know I'm gonna put you on the spot because it's there.
Well, I would say that's the thing about community, is having that sense of belonging. Yeah. I don't want to talk. Start getting emotional. That's why I didn't want to really talk at all. Yeah, but it's with all the other stuff that comes along with it. I mean, there has been, of course, like we were raised AME, and so in the AME tradition, it's the highs and lows. The highs were the community. And I remember with my mom, she had gotten into an argument about something with the pastor, and something was going down, and she was like, "We're not going back." And I was like, okay, we're not going back to church. And so, I was like, well, and then one Sunday passed, and I was like, all right, I'm not going back to church. And the next Sunday passed, and the next Sunday, and then I was like, this is not okay. Okay, because I've got my friends there, and we do we were with YPD, the youth department would go and do stuff, and I'd have choir rehearsal, and then after church we get a play together, and Miss Webb, she would make these homemade little pies that you could get, and I would always have my money for my the soda machine. I'd get a Mountain Dew, baby. Man. A little Mountain Dew with my 50 cent, my little fried pie, and I was like, this is not okay. And I went to my mom, and she was like, we're gonna watch gospel on the TV. And I was like, okay, listen, lady. I went to her, and I was like, I miss my family. I miss community, Mommy. This is not okay. And she was like, you what? I was like, this is not okay. She was like, oh God. Okay, we're going back next Sunday. And I don't know as an adult, I don't know exactly what she might have gone through. I really don't. But she sucked it up, obviously, and got me back there. And so I know that even when I was making the journey away from church, because I was like, it's become very toxic in the way that it teaches, and the acceptance of all, because my thing is we love everyone. Like, you want to love people. Like, that's what I think of community, is love. Yes. And so when I had to pull away, I had to pull the kids away, because Josh had experienced those churches where we throwing up in buckets and throwing up demons and stuff, and he would be like, Mom, let's not go back to that church because they throwing up in buckets, and that is not it for me. I'm not throwing up, and I was like, well, I get that, son, So we're trying to find and figure it out, and and it was like, but I still need community. And so that's what I think about with Infinity. It's like, what's so amazing about this place is that you have the freedom to be an individual. Mm-hmm. And to be your authentic self. Mm-hmm. And your spiritual practices are up to you. Mm-hmm. What you see, what you want to do, how you want to feel, how you want to be in this world, you get to do that. But at the same time, we have youth movie nights. We have our women retreat. We have the men things getting together. After service, y'all, we like to sit out there, have our popcorn, talking to each other.
That's right.
The kids are going wild and running around and having all these core memories. We're showing up for each other for weddings. We're showing up for each other when y'all showed up with Mother Carr.
Oh my gosh, man.
And the repass. And when y'all showed up for my friend Shantae when she was here and her baby transitioned. And she was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We were like, we got you. Don't even worry.
You're right.
And we got a place for her family, and we're able to feed everybody. When people have been born, Craig, we've done naming ceremonies, weddings, if you just need somebody to show up, right? Mm-hmm. We like, all right, come on, we there. Basketball games, we're there. And I was like, but that's community. That is what we need, y'all, because in this world it is lonely and people are suffering. And even with the DJ with Twitch, he was suffering alone. And I don't know what community he might have had, right? So I'm just like, that is why we can't throw everything away. We have been damaged, that's the truth. We have been in spiritual places where there were people who were in charge and they did not do right. They didn't do right. They didn't do right by our kids. They didn't do right by us. There were older men, there were older women who talked down and said stuff about us. Baby, you over there, you got that on, girl. You out in the streets. There was stuff. Yeah. But the thing about it was family. And that's what we have at Infinity. And I don't know, like I say this. And it is. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for Infinity and y'all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Every Sunday to come in.
Yes.
And y'all like, sis. Y'all, man, sis. Like, hard day. Okay. And I'm not showing it. We're doing the welcome and I'm bawling my eyes out and everybody's just, we're like, we all got each other. I don't know where I'd be without this place, without y'all, without community. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Don't know. But that to me is what is the blessing as we're reaching this place of enlightenment. And the journey, yes, it is a lonely journey. It is, a lot of people fall off. We've seen that in our lives. Yeah. But to do it alone is something else. It ain't the thing. You need, your family. You need your community to show up. We need each other in our lowest times, in our highest times. We need each other. We have to have that. Mm-hmm. And we have to have a place where we can just love. We just love you. Like at Infinity, we're just going to love on you. There is nothing else. You don't have to you don't have to do nothing. You walk into these doors, you're going to get loved on. We're going to love each other. where you are and who you are. Yeah. Yeah.
You better go on.
Man.
But you know, what you said is, it's this concept of the baby with the bathwater. You know? Anybody ever had a pair of shoes that hurt their feet and you never could quite break them in? And you just had to get rid of them, even though they look good, but they hurt you. You had to get rid of them, Trey. Did that stop you from wearing shoes? You just found a pair of shoes that fit you. So you find a community that fits you, wherever that is, because it's natural to find community. I drew up on here on this board up here, and it will open it up. You have questions and comments. But I drew up on this board where people are falling in the gap here, rightfully so, because we saw that generation space is the refusal to change created a gap. So when traditional spaces are refusing to change, there's nothing you can do. And again, I know I got some friends in traditional spaces that consider Infinity a second home. They go to church and then they come home and watch Infinity. And I love it. I'm with you. Whatever message we can pour into you is great. And we understand that sometimes synagogue, church, mosque, it's where your family is. You don't want to leave that. It's great. I understand it. But I will say this, is if the paradigm stays the same, it's not going to work. If you still have a gap space here, people are going to continue to go. Because if you are not willing to change, if you're not willing to evolve, then you're just basically, I say this, we talk about liberation theology with my friends in the academy. And they say, well, I'm a liberation theologist, I'm a womanist theology, I'm a process theology, I want to make sure that we get ourselves seen in these spaces. And I said, that's great. But if you're still in a theology that creates master and slave, you are basically wrapping shackles with kente cloth. If your theology is teaching that women are inferior to men, there's no matter of showing up, of being loud, that is going to make you change that theology. If the theology doesn't change, you can dress it up with as many fog machines as you want to. People still cannot be seen. So they're not going to come. They're going to go into that gap. They're going to go into that space even more because there is a chunk that has been pushed out. And again, it used to work. And people say, well, it's been around for thousands of years. This has been working for thousands of years, so we just need to go back to the old way. And we need to go back to the old way of doing things. You don't even read the times, do you, friend? The internet did not exist 2,000 years ago. People did not have access to information and knowledge where they could disclaim what you're saying or at least ask questions. When I was coming up, you'd ask questions. They could say to you, shh, don't you question God. Just have faith. Just have faith. And even though it wasn't making sense, there was nothing I could do until you had access to the world and you could lay your hands on the reliefs at the third step in the Simple Asceti 1. And you could see the story of Immaculate Conception happening in ancient Kemet 5,000 years before the story came about in other spaces and religions. So it's like, well, wait a minute. And then you ask the question, well, what about this comparative religion? They say, hey, stop all of that. I had a conversation at the Y with a group of young ministers. I was like, man, look, don't you know about that story of Isis or Set and Ra? And I was like, oh, yeah. That was that Kemetic philosophy. And I was like, you know this? Oh, yeah. We took a world religions class in theology school in seminary. And I was like, well, what do you do? I said, man, hell no, I ain't teaching that in church. Man, you lose your church, man. Keep it simple. Baptism, blood of Jesus, do your offering, everybody good. You know? People don't want to hear that. You lose your church. Well, now, because of access to information, you lost the people now. And you can't get them back. So when my friends who are involved in these ministries because they are in spaces where they have to be, and they're like, our meetings every week are terrible. It's like I was at corporate America. The pastor is shouting at us Talk about we got to get back on these campuses. We got to get them in high school. We got to get them at this space. Let's feed them. Let's give some money to them. Let's do whatever we need to do. We get to get people in these seats. Finance driven. But again, now that people are seeing through it, you don't change. But what happens when you change? I want everybody as a homework assignment, get online and read again what we went through a couple of weeks ago. Read that statement of infinitude. It reserves the right in this spiritual community to evolve and change. That's the one thing I love about this revelation of this space. We reserve the right to evolve and to change based on what comes to us. It's terrifying to people who need to be told 10 things to do and do nothing else. It's terrifying for people who aspire to become sheep. But when you complete that change and evolution, this may be the last part of my drawing today. When you complete the change and evolution, and when you commit to it, you have change and evolution. All of the things that you pick up along the way, not only do you create a bridge, but this community here, this community of people here, are then able to walk on that same bridge to pass what they learned off to the next generation. Oh my goodness gracious. Y'all know I did not want the space. It was a calling that I ran from, but when it came, the greatest excitement has come in those moments where I get to see people, and younger people especially, who I've been able to pour into, who are now pouring into other people. And I've had the revelation that the greatest thing ever can exist with you all sitting in here right now and you all watching online. And that is that this space of evolution, growth, support, love, and change will live beyond us. That we don't have to learn how to do it all over again. But that now we have a path where things are open, where children, friends, places in the community are affected, and we are able to translate that into generational wealth. That's what generational wealth is, y'all. The money ain't the wealth. The money is just a byproduct of the wealth. The generational wealth is being able to translate the wisdom and the wisdom that you have to another generation so that they don't bump their heads as much as we had to. That's what ends up happening. And when the business is closed down, when the studio closes, when the people take vacation because they get overwhelmed, and all of us need to do that. We need to take vacations. We need to stop ourselves from being overwhelmed. But if every single time something happens and you say, I'm checking out, you got to find yourself a spiritual community to come back to get replenished. We replenish a lot of people here who go out and help a lot of people in a lot of ways. And we're grateful to be able to do that. But that's how we're going to pass this thing on generationally. And that's what that beauty is. Because even listening to you talk there, you hear those core memories. The exciting thing is the number of young people who continue to come to this space who are going to have the same kind of core memories. So throwing out the baby with the bathwater, saying, I'm getting rid of everything. Well, even the things that did well by you, even the things that gave you the support you needed to get through the hard times. And there are those moments of human pride are not ego pride moments for me. And for I can speak for both of us. We had this conversation. It's organizational and spiritual pride as a mission-driven organization that has a mission to uplift, to recognize, to see, and to continue to build. Not just a place to come to give you the tools. We want to give you that too. But baby, we talk about housing, we're going to build housing. We talk about youth programs, we do youth programs. We talk about community development, we do community development. All the things that people complain about, we don't complain about. We have no time to complain, Infinity. You have a finite amount of time on this earth. You're eternal beings, finite amount of time. Complaining, doing. Complaining, building. Complaining, growing. We in the right column. We're not in the complaint space. If there's a problem, it's a big enough problem, y'all gonna hear somebody in this space say, what can we do about it? How can we help? How can we step up? And y'all know with my mom, I'd give that example because with my mom's celebration, mom's church has not grown. It's fallen in the gap. They didn't have the support needed to get that. Some people did the best they could, but her generation had passed off. When you live to be 93, they say, most of your friends and your people, they left already. So they waiting for you. And, you're sitting here, but they didn't have the infrastructure. So a lot of people on my other side of the family was like, well, do we need to come in and we need to do that? And I said, well, no, we got some people here at Infinity. And of course, Infinity is a non-traditional space. So in some people's eyes, it ain't a real church, And you could produce the papers all day long. It still ain't a real church. Y'all preaching from the Bible? Y'all preaching from it? Oh, it's a church then. You know what I mean? It's all right, baby. It's all right. But when I tell you that when they walked through those doors and they saw Infinity folks standing on posts with those stoles on with Infinity, and when they went back to get fed and people were feeding them, some of my cousins who go way deep into that, they called me over to repast, music playing at the repast, people dancing, having fun. Never been to anything like that. I said, welcome to Infinity. This is ongoing, and everything's a part of us. Said, welcome to it. And once some of the ones who tend to be the most verbal, they call me over to the table. Now, those people at the line and working around, are they with your church? I was like, yeah. Are they all right? They said, my gosh. They have been taking such good care of us. I have never met so many people who are so friendly and positive in my life. Welcome to Infinity. Pretty cool church, But that's what happens when we spring into action, and that's what it is. I think about this, and then I'll wrap it and take a couple questions. And we've had an epic one today at the end of the year, and I'm just grateful that y'all have been here, and grateful that you stayed online and that you'll share this message with folks. When we think about what happened to Twitch, there've been a lot of people pontificating, and again, we don't know. I can't speak to that. I'm called on to do commentary, and my commentary would be, I don't know. I don't know him personally. But I saw, you run through the internet, you see tons of comments on, yeah, we got to seriously start addressing mental health. Yeah, check on your folks. Yeah, especially the strong people, look in on them. We hear these they become platitudes now anytime this happens because we don't understand. But the reality is this. A wonderful psychologist got on and said, we got to do more than that because you don't know what anybody's life is like. If I had 10 people line up and I were to have an avatar for each one of those 10 that represented what happened, that they committed suicide, they would committed suicide for 10 different reasons. One person may have chemical imbalance in their brain that doesn't give them the ability to cope with depression in the same way. Another person may be bipolar and have an issue that is a synaptic firing in their brain. Somebody else might be sociopathic and decides to do something to get back at people who they feel hurt them. So they're going to cause pain. Some people may say, my finances are ruined and I'm going to bring shame to my family and I'm going to check. There are a million different reasons, but one of the things this psychologist pointed out was you have to look at community. What support system did they have in place to make sure that they would be supported across the board? And that is the beauty of community. And people think now, well, community is, we can get into organizations and we can join this and we can join a book club. And that's great for individual community. But if book club is on Friday night from 6 to 7, and you need some help on Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and the response is, hey, I'm sorry, but this is book club. I'm not in it for all the other stuff. That's why we're in it. For all the other stuff. So whether it's here or someplace else, find you a space that affirms you. Find you a space that does not judge you. Find a space that will love on you and love into you, And that's the space that you call home. But get some kind of community, because that community will give you that herd immunity. Ashe. All right, questions, comments, any quick questions or anything come in on the internet, Tony? And then we'll have a couple in here in the space. Josh, grab that mic and hand it out. Yeah, he got one out for us. Okay, you got to read it, Tony, from the back, because I can't see.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, this is from Miss Lakeisha Thomas, and I have been looking for a faith community since moving to Nashville 8 years ago. While also on my path of enlightenment, grateful to be here and looking forward to fellowshipping in person soon.
Awesome, Lakeisha, great to have you. Ashe. Everybody here is smiling for you and with you. We get to that space. Yes, anytime, come through. And I'm so grateful for the infinite stream, and I'm grateful that because this community poured into it, we've been able to reach people all over the place who felt by themselves. You know, and if you've never been by yourself or felt by yourself, you know, to use the best academic term I can use, it sucks. We were at home, we'd say sucks. It just sucks. It sucks. So welcome to a space where you're not going to feel alone. We're not. We look forward to Keisha. What else we got, Tom?
We have a second one. I think it's Phyllis Day. Sorry if I said it incorrectly. It says, it can be so hard to open up and be a part of something for me. How can I allow myself to let down the walls when I deal with trust issues?
How can I let down the walls when I deal with trust issues? Trust must first emanate from inside. You've got to trust that you have the ability to find your right path. That's a space of confidence that you have to have inside yourself. A lot of times when we bump our heads, we no longer trust our instinct or our gut. But most of the time, our instinct is in alignment with the spirit. And we got to learn to trust our gut. When our gut says it's not it, then it's not it. When you're letting down the walls, I encourage you to allow yourself to let down the wall. Don't tear down the entire wall yet, because your body also has innately within it, your mind and spirit has innately in it something called common sense. And it says, don't let everybody in my house. Go back and reference the 7 points of entry, which is a message that I got let me give a message. I got that message. I got the 7 points of entry from the Craft of Amun-Ra from Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen. And the same point of entry is there. I acknowledge that space. That's where it comes from. But go back to that, because you can't let everybody in. But if you want change, you're going to have to step forward and trust yourself to step forward into a space that could change you. My favorite Edwin Gaines line is, how's it working for you? How's it working not to trust? How's it working to stay solitary? How's it working to continue to feel the pain? How's it working to not allow yourself to be vulnerable? Now, does that mean you're going to do like you did before? That you're going to spend 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years in a situation that was tearing you apart from the inside? No, because you learned. But you know a tree by the fruit it bears. When you go into a community, when you go around people who, when you see them, they're consistent. When you see the fruit, they're consistent. When you see the fruits of their labor, when you see their business, they're producing results. When you see their activism, they're making change. When you see that they greet you at the door with a good smile and good energy, and they're consistent with it, that's how you allow yourself to start trusting in those spaces. That's how you allow yourself to be in a space of growth and evolution and development. You allow yourself that space of growth and change. And I'm telling you, no risk, no reward. If you don't take a risk, you will not get a reward. Warmed my heart in the greatest way when I saw Terrell and Tashana Lindsley come through that door for the first time when they came a month ago to Infinity Fellowship. Core memory, Trey. I'll never forget, and the only thing that trumped it was a little while later when they came and gave us an admission and a confession. And their admission, note to self, Sam's, order a case of tissues. We're all allowing the gratitude to flow. That's what it is. I love it. I love it when the gratitude flows. At home, the gratitude. People are having these realizations in this space right now. But the greatest thing that you all said to us was that we were as real in person as we seem to be on TV. And the same to y'all. And we talked about that. We talked about the first time in air. There are times when people can present well to the world. We wear the mask that grins and lies, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. But there are people who present well to the world. Look at that, I'm still connected. People present well to the world. That's that bridge, right? But then you meet them in person. You meet them in person. And you mess around and you hear the wrong thing. Yeah, right. You mess and you hear the wrong thing. You mess around and you're standing next to one of the leaders. And you hear them say out loud after the handshake, and you hear them say out loud, make sure you move Pastor Internet. He don't want to be touching these people right now. Make sure you get him to the back room. We got to get him. You hear the armor bearer say something like that. Hey, go over there and get that woman off him. He don't like to be touched like that. Move her to the back. All right. We get to that. You see him standing in the line. We got 2 more minutes. Get him out of here. Get him to the car. Get him in the back. I'm gonna go out and take over. And then the bridge is there. So all of the welcoming is out the window. Or you're sitting there and you hear somebody talking. Oh, shoot, I'm so glad this came in this question and it's wrapped up in this. And thank you so much for that, Phyllis, because this is part of what happens too with trust. Trust can be eroded quickly when you're standing in a room and you hear somebody talking and you recognize that they're talking about your story because somebody shared it. Look, let me do this. Let me do this on the space. Let me draw this on the space because this is something that I have to say. As we move into 2023, y'all, it's going to be a whole new level of engagement on so many ways. It's going to be beautiful. But look, you can get community through friends. You can go to the book club. You can go to the movies. You can go to the yoga class. Warrior 2, baby. You can do it all. I forgot what I was going to draw. I'm drawing Tadasana, right? Reaching toward the sky. You can go to all of this. You can do all the wonderful things. You can do the meditations. You could burn you some Palo Santo and a fire ritual. You can go to all of that. But here's the danger of the monetized spaces. Not only might they not be there with you along the way, but they're not generally committed to an ethical code. That means that you could think that you're getting community in that place and you could share your deepest things, and then it bounced from one mat to the next, 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 to the next. When you have a spiritual community, you have a covering. What you have, what you're dealing with, it stays in the space where you're dealing with it. And nobody in this leadership space is going to share that with anybody, but it's going to fight to get you to mental health, push, pull, or drag you by love. Not by coercion, because you got to be willing and ready to go. But it's going to drag you to success. That's why you're going to look out when you do your events. We used to go, when somebody was doing a play, somebody was in the Nutcracker, we had 3 rows of people at the Nutcracker to see somebody's baby. You see a play, and somebody say, I'm doing a show. You look out, you see your infinity folk out there, because we're going to be the first one to buy a ticket. When you say about child, we couldn't get because we had all the other stuff going on, but Zamora had a birthday party. We just able to send her energy her way because we were doing the movie night. But guess what? We're going to show. We're going to sing happy birthday. We're going to pour into you. We want to be excited about you, because guess what? That's what it's about in that community space. So what a joy it is to do that. That's why everywhere I go, if I'm somewhere speaking, I've been at political rallies or political events that I avoid now, but I've been in spaces like that. I'll look at, I said, before I do anything else, I got to acknowledge, I got my infinity folk in the house. All my infinity folks, stand up. That's my church. So, I love it, because the thing is, we ain't selling nothing here. I ain't trying to pitch anybody to come to this space. I ain't on no recruitment drive. I ain't not. Your vibration, your attracts your tribe nation. So your vibration, if you're looking to follow and you're looking to be a sheep, I guarantee you're going to find it. It's 1,300, 1,400 places in Nashville in the buckle of this space that would love to have you. Love to have your blind devotion. Love to have your non-logic and just 100% believing. That's what they would love it. They'll take everything you got. They'll take it. But not here. When you want to go in that journey space, you want to get deeper, you want to press, you want to see growth. Come on. That's why these two things are important. And then I know we got a comment or two here, Tony, and then we'll take that. Two things are important. Our New Year's Eve celebration is important. It's a great party. I love it. Because in Infinity, we love to party. Yeah, we do and party. We're going to do an in party. So our vision board workshop, we work vision boards in an atomic way that's going to manifest fruit in your life. I love every year when people come back and they say, I met and exceeded everything that was on my board. It was freaking me out. No, it shouldn't freak you out. Learn to walk in expectation. And then we celebrate afterwards, and we have a safe place for the kids. Be here and do that. Ladies in here, ladies abroad, wherever you are, I hadn't been able to sign on today and look, but those slots started filling up for the women's sleepover. Look, go get your tickets. Only 30 slots in there. I ain't never been in one, but I never will. I never will. I'm not able to. But when I say that there's something different about y'all when y'all come out of that space, I've never seen anything like it. And I send these props to Sister Kanitha here, because she works hard to make sure that every single person is going to be seen and loved and poured into. And so because of that, when she's in that space, everybody gets that energy in that sleepover. And I don't know what happens. I just know they come in at night. The next afternoon I come in, and I would lie and say I help clean up, but something about they come in and leave the place better than you found it. Terrell, I'm in here looking for clues. I'm like, some diary papers laying around here, some burned pieces of anything. I said, what did they do in here? I don't know. I just know that everybody's jumping up and down and hugging, and it's like, wow, place is clean. I'm like, man, was this a crime scene? What, y'all have some fixers come in this mug? And if it is, no judgment. I don't, there's no judgment in those spaces at Infinity. But again, powers of the space of community, and powers to be able to say, y'all know what happens at Infinity when we have our spaces here stays here. Nobody goes out and be like, yeah, so-and-so, he was stepping and spinning, and he went in the split and ripped his jeans. One year I ripped my jeans. I was stepping, and I ripped my jeans, and it was funny. Yeah, I didn't know. But I learned. And nobody put me on YouTube. I was like, this is awesome. I ain't on World Star. So they started playing Set It Off, I think. Was it? No, Blow the Whistle. And I started. Bleep, bleep. Yeah, man, I was DJ Kiki. We may have another DJ this year because line dancing. What I love now is line dancing become popular with everybody. like generations, like from millennials down to Joshua's generation, people are getting into the, the line dancing, and it's so awesome. So I love it. All right, couple of quick comments, and then y'all, we've had an epic day today. To our visitors, we usually 90 minutes or so, and that is it. This is a rare day, so don't worry, we'll feed you something afterwards.
I got one too, but I'm gonna let her go first.
Go ahead, Tony.
Okay. No, it's all good. I'm gonna try and keep this quick, and this, just so y'all know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or sexist or anything like that. Okay. When I think about people like Twitch and even people like Jason David Frank, who played the Green Ranger, they both committed suicide. And the thing I have to say about this is because even nowadays, especially who I've been seeing on YouTube and whatnot, there's a lot of men's ministries that are almost kind of extinct or non-existent. Like there's no place for a man to be able to express themselves. And if you do express yourself, it's like you get condemned. Even if it's something simple, and it's at a point now where even when you try to be able to do something chivalrous, you try to open a door for somebody, they think you're a creep or think something of that nature or think you're weird or something like that. And all you're trying to do is just trying to help somebody out. And heck, there are even times where even when you're trying to save somebody and they put a hand in your face or they attack you, and it's like, I'm trying to help you out, but then you're, attacking me. And I'm trying to be the person that saves you. You know what I'm saying? And so with this being said, it's almost like nowadays we don't really have a voice. And then one thing I appreciate about Infinity is that we at least have something here. And so I've been thinking about this lately, especially I see Sister Kenitha doing the women's retreat. I see the ladies doing stuff, which I'm happy to see that for them because they need that. And of course, they'd be able to speak their voice and say the things going on in their lives. And because we need to know this stuff. But when it comes to men, we don't really able to say what we got to say. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we say it in public. They condemn us. They tear us down. They say we're not men. We get emasculated and so on and so forth. Like, I almost believe that here, and I don't know if it's me or anybody else wants to have ever thought about this, I feel like we almost need a men's ministry here at Infinity, like something, like for men to be able to express themselves.
Yes.
Because I feel like, I know they can definitely make a big change.
Yes.
And men can be able to come in here and say the things that we can't talk about with, and I hate to say it, our spouses sometimes, because sometimes we got to be able to speak it to other men to get advice or information, because we got to remain stoic.
Yes.
We got to keep frame. We have to be the strength. I'm learning this even now at the age I'm at now. Like some of the stuff that men knew back in the day, this is for me just talking from a personal standpoint, some of the stuff men knew back in the day, I'm learning this stuff now, like right now, not even just like beforehand. So with this being said, I believe that once we have something like this can definitely make a big change and transition where, like yourself, when you're in prison, you could be able to, save someone's life. You could be able to help somebody. And so with this being said, I just want to just end by saying that I just believe we need something here, like for men. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's not me being sexist or anything, ladies. So please don't.
No, you're not. It's all balanced. It's all balanced, Tony.
Please.
That's great.
So please, you know what I'm saying?
That's great.
And so, but with that being said, that's all. I just believe we definitely need to have something here for that.
Yes.
All
right.
That's all.
That's it then, Tony. And I appreciate it because we're going to put it together. I'm drafting Tony, that's Craig. I'm drafting Trey to start that up because, or let me say restart. Because there have been a lot of things that we've done, whether it was course and conversations with some of those, with people who were married, but even when we were early days, we would take a canoe trip and we would go out to the woods and have those conversations around the fire, and that needs to come back. And that is for 2023, Tony. We're on that. That's it. It's just done. That's it. And then Terrell's going to handle the online space. Yes. Pass her the mic so people are here at home, because I know Rihanna's going to have something good. Thank you, Rihanna. I want to make sure people hear, Rihanna. Yes, and then Craig. And
I also just want to give you permission, give other people permission that you don't have to save people. And I think that's a societal pressure that is put on men of like, you have to posture in a certain way, or it's expectation that you step in and take, that is the thing that is stifled a lot. And so I think that's something even across the board when we talk about spiritual community as well, there has to be a space where we're able to say, you know, like, I don't know. I think there's a space of mutual support that doesn't look like saviorship or feeling like you have to come in and save people, because, you know, at the end of the day, all you can do is, you know, be a messenger of God is sending a message through you, relay that message, but you can't be stuck on the outcome. That's like, you know, the, you know, major teaching as well of like, you know, do what you do in the world, and then however people receive that, you know, the four agreements is like, that has nothing to do with, you know, how
Nothing
people
to do-
react
yes.
to you has nothing to do with you. And so I also want to release people from feeling guilt or shame or resentment because people didn't accept the help that you offered them.
Come on, man. I love it, Rihanna. I put that on screen. Tony, you take that slide up for a second. People see that at home. Support over salvation. And that's what everything. That. Yes. Yes. I need to save you. Right. And those are part of that's discussion that I've had, even with people who come up to me without any provocation, without any invitation, to tell me what they're willing to offer me to help transition me. The people who write letters from, well, you wrote the letter. So you wrote the letter, so I'm telling because it came here. From Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons, thank you, and even some of the Scientology spaces who have written the letters to Infinity because they looked us up online and they're offering us the true path. They've offered to come and speak to our congregation, to speak to me and our congregation so they can save us. Right, at the church. So we can help grow that church. But Rihanna, you touched on something that's important. It's the missionary zeal. Because it's the theology. The theology is your job is to save. So your burden is to save. So I want to be saved. That's right in alignment. Because the other thing is, I've had that circle, not circles I mean all the time, because again, my choice is I'm not being around a circle where somebody feels it is their burden to save my eternal soul. Because I'm operating from a space of ignorance. Again, back to the old paradigm before people knew better and they could look this up and have common sense. Yeah, they were just doing what they were taught. And they were just passing down what was passed down to them. But the reality is, even when you look at the scriptural teachers, the text, they were always trying to tell about somebody to save themselves. They were always saying that. Somehow or another, the institutionalization of it became, let me help you save you. So in other words, instead of follow the teachings that Jesus put, it's follow me as I follow Christ. Remember that? If y'all remember hearing that one, that's it. Follow me as I follow Christ. And then Christ is going to follow. I'm going to take him to God. Then God's going to trickle it all back down, finally to you when you're dead. So again, this note to say, we all are responsible for saving ourselves. And sometimes saving ourselves is just having a community space where you can go back here and sit on that rock. Where you could go sit in that meditation room and let the tears flow. Where you can sit on that deck at a fire, or you could go walk on that trail and you can be like, I don't need anything right now from anybody other than to sit in where I'm feeling. And you got a place where they're not going to tap the watch and tell you time to go, because it's yours. It's yours. It's not, am I still up on there, Tony? Gosh. Don't want to go long. This spirit keep wrestling with me. I'll stop. Let me tell y'all something about Infinity. Infinity is an institution. It is board managed. It is a 501c3. It is mission driven. All of the buildings, all of the outreaches operate according to this. It is not private business. It is not an LLC. It is not a service industry. It is not a profit-driven service. I get a lot personally from spaces like this. My personal development. If I see a book that I like, I'm buying it. If I see, and we're gonna get wholesale on this, somebody during COVID had sent us a link to these candles, and there's something about them that are just so well done. Then guess what? And it's African American owned. The sister owns it, and this customer service is off the charts. They make stuff that's in alignment with the energy we create and fit. We're gonna buy it. It's a personal bit. We're gonna support it. We're gonna do that. We're just because I do that personal development. We're gonna do that, but we're not gonna swap that for the strength of the institution. Because again, those businesses will go out of business. People will get tired of dealing. They will say things like, "Oh, these customers on my nerves. I'm jetting out of here." You don't. That's cool. That's the benefit of having an overarching space of that bridge. And bridges, that's why they're built in an arch, because they're overarching and they cover those things. Thank you, Rihanna. That's great. All right, Craig, and then we get to Denise, and I think we'll be ready to wrap and get some popcorn and coffee.
Yeah, and thank you, Sister Rihanna, for that. I appreciate that. I think you were speaking to men to some degree, and that is true. There's a burden there, but I will also say that men innately feel that. It's not like just society throwing it on us. Just like women kind of innately feel the need to nourish and help and protect, especially when it comes to children. Men feel like you don't have to tell us. Basically, it's a man's gonna do it naturally because you can call it a hero complex. I don't know, but it's definitely a need to protect, and we'll die quickly for protecting our woman, our children, whatever it may be. But to piggyback on what Brother Tony was saying, there's specifically in the space in the world where there's a certain type of man, a heterosexual black men, who have not been allowed to assert themselves and be affirmed. We tend to get shouted down. Gay men can do it. Gay black men can come into spaces and speak their mind. Women, black women have had spaces, whether you believe it or not, Ebony Jet, Essence, all these spaces, talk shows where the black female opinion, gay or straight, was given. Now there's been a recent surgence in the last 2 years, thanks to a certain named individual who gonna make some people pucker up when I say him, Kevin Samuels, coming into the space. And that brought about a plethora of other heterosexual black men who are like, yeah, and I have something to add. I have something to say too. And that is something that people may not realize, or maybe you don't feel that way, but we feel like we've been silenced for the longest. Like, you're not allowed to speak. You heterosexual, you cisgender black man, shut up. You're just like the white man. You're the white man of the black community, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. How the hell is that possible? But how can I be the white man of the black community? That's the white man. He's doing that. But either way, I just wanted to say that just to make sure people understand that, like, men, I understand you feel like men have always had the torch and always been speaking, but heterosexual black men have not. We have not had a magazine, a space, or any area where we can go to and give our opinion as it stands. And we're tired of being gangsters and gay. Most of us are not.
Okay. All right.
Most of us are not gangsters. Most of us, every time we show up in a space or we're shown for whatever reason, it has to be one or the other, either hypermasculine or feminine. There is no in between, whereas 80-90% of us are really there. If you're being honest, if you think about all the black men you see, especially the ones in this room, most of us are not hypermasculine. Okay, we're not just I'm He-Man or whatever I say goes necessarily. It's not like that for us, and most of us are not. And when I say gay, I don't say that to say there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying that to say that for whatever reason, anytime we show up in a space, that's how it has to be. Either fear us or don't worry about it. We're your friend. Like, but it's like the in between ones. We're like we're your friend too. Like, we're not. we deserve to be affirmed and understood a bit better, and that's not going to happen if nobody is willing to listen to us. So that's all I wanted to add on that.
Okay. Good. I'm gonna give you a response to that. If y'all look up on there, and Tony, you go to the screen. European, Western, Western society as we know it right now is built on scarcity and lack. The capitalistic model is built on keeping everybody else right here. That's workforce. That's what creates poverty. There's no lack in the world. We got enough water to give everybody. We got enough fuel to get everybody. We just discovered what's called a new breakthrough in fusion, which is a message for 2023. There's an abundance of energy now that you can have tapped into. It's all there. But capitalism exists so that you can create scarcity. There are plenty of diamonds in the world. It's just the diamond industry withholds diamonds and releases them a little bit at a time so they can create value. Value in this space has been placed around whiteness and maledom. We built this country. You picked up them stones and chopped that cotton? We built this country. Make it again, great again. Wasn't that great when we had those towels over our arms? But either way, and I'm not going to get political because we got again, Infinity is a space where everybody across the spectrum is respected. Yes. So that's why I appreciate you being honest enough to share that, Craig. Yes. I always say with people that we always have to use I instead of we, because we black men ain't elected any black president for us black men. And I put 5 of us in a room, we're going to say some things, yeah, you're right, and then some other things like, oh, pull up, dude, pull up. Bro, that ain't, right? So we don't have a president. So we can say, based on my experience, what I feel is. And that's why I always encourage people. And that doesn't make it any less valid, right? Because in this society, when we're here in this space, and we could add little things to it, we could add religion, we could add wealth, we could all that, and it just creates another layer. But when this is happening, when we got white men, you got white females, second in the pyramid, then for everybody else, credit to Dr. Greg Carr, my brother, who pointed this out in a great response that he was giving in class with Carr in the early days of COVID. So again, cite your sources. If don't, it's gonna come bite you in the butt. Dr. Greg Carr said that everything else becomes a race to not be at the bottom. And so because of that, we turn on each other. And because we don't admit it, we don't admit the extent to which this society, this Western world right now, just over the last 400 or 500 years, given human history, 50,000 years, 200,000 years, 500 years is a blink in the grand sleep of things. It's not long. We're just living in a real time. But when we're in this space right now, not to be at the bottom, we do not recognize that no matter what we say, no matter how cultural we get, we're still operating by the same paradigm. Let me put my stuff first and not listen to anybody else. Black folk don't have a president. LGBTQIA plus, each one of those letters does not to itself have a president for each one of the letters, much less an overarching space. Ask my graphics guy who was a proud gay white male back in the day when I did theater, who was a proud gay white male who loved everything about himself as much as he loved President Trump. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Here's somebody who, it does not make sense. So you got the spectrum. So again, as we tie this back into community, right, we recognize that we are all fingers on the same hand of humanity. So if one of the fingers isn't functioning, if you break a finger, you don't just say, forget it, I don't need it anymore. You go to the doctor and you heal the finger, because the finger not only operates to itself, it operates as part of an ecosystem. And when we operate from that ecosystem, we make sure that each finger is healed. So whatever finger we are, whatever our gender is, our orientation, that's why, again, evolution in this space of infinity, whatever that is, we acknowledge and we see to make sure everybody's seen and heard. Because if not, they're going to go out into the world and find a place to be seen and heard. And in this model, baby, this model is effective by promoting this. I'm on top now. I can name any number of groups that, from my personal experience, would be considered cults because they give the language that makes people feel seen. You're the original black man. Did you know that? The world survives around you. You're God with a small g. Did you know that you part of the Laos tribe of Shabazz? That you came from space and a mothership is going to come and eliminate all the white people and put you on top, brother? Did you know that the 12 tribes in the Bible are actually talking about you? And did you know that you are the original Jews and that nobody else? Yes, brother, you. Do you know if you come in this space that we're going to look up to you and you can subjugate your women and everybody will do what you say and you will be top dog and you will be able to have everything you want. We'll give you 6 wives, brother, because you deserve them, because you are God made in the image and likeness of the Creator, and you deserve. Who you think's gonna flock to that? A lot of people, because it keeps them from being on the bottom. It puts them into Drake theology. Started at the bottom, now I'm here. Now I ain't got no land. I ain't got no tangible institutions. The people still feeding me this stuff are still making money off me because I'm buying all their books and pouring into their mansion, and I still don't have an address where I can find them. So basically, we replace the oppressors by having these tiny spaces of oppression where we can be king or queen. And it happens all along. I could throw a rock and hit it. There are people who will do that. Kevin Samuel said some stuff that was absolutely nuts. He said some stuff that was absolutely true. Because even people who would judge the stuff that he was saying and doing, a broken clock is right twice a day. And he wouldn't have so many views and so many people calling him to ask for advice if there wasn't some gap. Oh my gosh. If there wasn't some gap. So because there are people out here who do not get to see samples and spaces of family and love and consistency, when that gap exists, then, oh, guess what? Here's the truth. Here's what you do. You act like a woman, think like a man. You do this and that. Somebody asked me that once. Did you like that book, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man? I said, yeah, if you want to marry Steve Harvey. I told him that honestly, the only person, well, what do you think about it? I said, well, I can see where he can say that, but I'm not in favor of gaming to get relationships. I'm in favor of authenticity. Be who you are, and then you're going to be happy. But if you want to learn how to game somebody so that you could end up with somebody like Steve Harvey, then by all means do that. I'm not going to stop you from pursuing your dreams. But he can't speak for everybody. But everybody needs to be heard. So yes, when we hear these are the voices that we have to amplify and be heard. And we have to hear them clearly, because the reaction that we often have, whatever camp or space we're in, is based on and a lot of times in this pyramid space, it's based on our own perspective of how we've been treated. And you go to us, black man, treated like garbage. Black woman, treated like garbage. LGBTQIA plus, treated like garbage. People, we find the spaces where we're treated like garbage, and then we turn on each other when we're not smart. One great little clip, I don't watch a lot on the internet, but one great little clip was a guy talking about crabs in a barrel. And y'all may have seen it. I give the props to the brother. He said everybody's talking about crabs in a barrel without pointing out that a barrel is not a crab's natural habitat. That a crab is in a boundless open sea. I wish I had the brother's name. I would shout him out because I appreciate that. It's not their natural habitat. So how else are they supposed to act outside their natural habitat? So we use that example to say we're acting like crabs in a barrel instead of saying, why are the crabs not in the ocean? And instead of asking the question, who the hell put them in the barrel? Because that's who's responsible. Because if I put everybody out of their natural habitat into a barrel, your natural instinct is going to be to fight to survive. Because we all operate out of self-interest. So in this space, we ain't putting us in a barrel. Our natural habitat is to operate as fingers on the hand of humanity, where we listen to each other and we provide each other opportunities to be seen, loved, and supported. It's a challenge. It is tough because everybody's not going to agree with you. But it's beautiful when people don't agree with you, because you get to be the tomato, you get to be the romaine, you get to be the onion, you get to be the black olive, and you get to be that. And that's what makes a beautiful salad. If you all were the same thing, oh, how bland it would be. So this is the challenge we have. And that's why as an institution, you have a place where you can work these things out. But because it's a mission space, you don't have a space where people can give up on you and say, no, I didn't like that. That brother said that. I ain't never going back to that place again. What happens if you do stay? What happens if you do listen? What happens? I'm preaching to the choir here, because everybody who usually ends up at Infinity has ended up here because there were no other spaces where they could be seen. So you've gone through a space where you say, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to please everybody else. I'm going to stop trying to let other people save me. I am going to go to a space where I am fed and I'm uplifted and I can grow, and I'm going to be all right with that, even if it gets called a church. Good one. Thank you, brother. All right. We have one more, I think. Denise, go ahead.
Tony, thank you so much for beginning that conversation. Craig, thank you for your follow-up comment. Actually, yesterday at my event, I spoke to that, and I acknowledged, because when women promote that they're having a brunch, it's automatically thought that it's a women's brunch. And my brunch was the occasion of just because. So it welcomed whoever came. And I had quite a few kings in the space. And my father was one of the kings that I had the opportunity to honor. My dad, my Uncle Willie, my social media guy, Jared Dalton, and my financial guy, Ben Russell. And earlier this week, when I heard the information about Twitch, and my boyfriend, Demetrius knows, but when I heard the information this week about Twitch, my husband was my first thought, because I'm a lot to deal with, and to have to deal with me every day, I know that. So I thought about my husband. I thought about my son that's in the military. I thought about my son, Kimon. I thought about all of the kings that are surrounding me. I thought about Rev Jeff, because you're right. There's not safe spaces. There are firing ranges for you all. Come on in, because we want to tear you apart. I used to be in the club of, I can't stand men, they dogs, they know. I was the president of it. And it took my father straightening me to get me to understand, because I did hear my mom say, if you ain't got no money, you ain't coming to see the kid, all of that. And so I honor the kings being able to be a queen to support you all, because I strictly believe if the kings are good, the queens are straight. And I want to take a moment of gratitude, and I call Rev Jeff randomly like a crazy person. Rev Jeff, Kenitha, Miss Kenitha, thank you. Thank you. I'm a misfit and love it and have been that. And, as I was growing up and, going to parties and stuff, people would ask me, do you snort cocaine? So when you're a child who has a parent or parents that battle addiction, that hurts, because you're already on the line of, well, her mama did this and her daddy did this, so she surely, but it was my energy. and I can come in here and bounce off the wall, and it's appreciated. I don't have to practice being authentic. Because on social media, you hear that a lot, people practicing to be authentic. But I don't have to practice, I can just be country girl Denise, and people appreciate it. So again, Rev Jeff and Miss Kenitha, thank you for following the assignment. Because anytime something happens, Miss Kenitha be like, oh girl, it ain't me, or Rev Jeff, it's not me, I'm just a messenger. Thank you, because get ready to expand the building, like really. Because we're living in the overflow in 2022, so 2023 is going to be off the chain. So thank you so much for standing in the gap for each and every one of us, not the ones that's just here physically, but the ones all over the world. Thank you so much.
Oh, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Ashe. Thank you. Great comment. Y'all, we are going to bring it to a close, and we thank everybody that's been online. I think this may be our record breaker for service. 8 years, and this is a record breaker. But I think it needed to be a record breaker because there needs to be something that people can refer back to. And I'm grateful that we can refer back to this on the archive now, that people can go back through this conversation. And I thank everybody that expressed your thoughts here, because people around the globe heard it. We got people from Rwanda, people from England, people from Belgium, people from the Bahamas, people from North Carolina, people from LA, California, all over that. And they're thinking what you were able to verbalize. And we appreciate it. We are now in a space where we are moving forward, and we're breaking those bonds. As Denise said, when you're talking about things that happened before us, that acknowledgement is important. The bigger acknowledgement now is we are our parents now. I don't give you 22 years old. You are now in a position of leadership where you're grown and you get to make a choice. So guess what? We can move forward, understanding what's in the rearview mirror, but looking ahead at what we're doing right now and looking at the fruit of our labor and what we have to contribute to the community, to people around us, and to our generations. And we want to replicate the good. We want to be change agents, and we know we are, and we know each and every one of you is. With every diverse opinion you have, you are absolutely awesome. And I am so grateful for this space. Let us take a deep breath in as we begin to close our ceremony today, our ritual today, and move to find us some food and fellowship. Take a deep breath in. Allow your eyes to close from top to bottom. As we sit in this space today, absorbing the lessons of If Speaks Sunday, our last If Speaks of the year 2022. Oh, we're so grateful. We've had 12 months of conversation together in this place. We're so grateful right now for the lessons that are gleaned from the conversation today. We're thankful for the communal input. We are thankful for the communal output of love. We speak in this space today that we are creating in this moment core memories going forward. We ain't thinking about what we did or did not do in the past, because we can't get that time back. We are not making a futile attempt to fix anything. We don't need to fix anything. We are exactly where we need to be in this moment. We are exactly what we need to be a being of love, to be in a being of power, and to communally come together in this space we call the Infinity Fellowship today, right now. So we speak right now new core memories for our young people today. We speak new core memories for the communities that we will reach out to, that we will embrace, and that we will shower with love and accomplishment. We speak core memories into the schools that we support, to the teachers that we pour into. We speak core memories to the family members who are represented here today. A brand new building of a brand new bridge. We give thanks for those who had something spark inside them today, something that reminded them that they are awesome and infinite manifestations of all creation, and that we can do all things, because all things are working for the good. We send this energy as we are united in prayer right now. We send this energy over to Fernbrook Lane. We send this energy into room 413 with Sister Vanita Holman right now. We send this energy into our spirit right now. May she feel this connected energy. And in that space in between, we speak that those who have gone before will hold her hand in this space. As those who are here now will stand to pick the baton up and take it forward. We speak a peaceful and blessed journey when the time is right. And for those who are moving through this space of transition, may it produce appreciation for being here and breathing and thinking and doing. What a gift it is for us to walk into the space of the right now. We give thanks for this space and love, and may we go forth in peace and power. And so it is. We breathe in together. Exhale and release. Amen and Ashe. All right. Everybody, let's rise to our feet. All right. Man, I love y'all, man. I was thinking how much sleep I didn't get last night. And then I was like, wait a minute. I didn't feel it. Y'all that's that high energy of that space. So as we sway, as we get ready to sing, as we leave from this place into a world that awaits your light, go ahead and embrace being a light, y'all. And it ain't a light that somebody's going to always affirm, but it's going to help them shine anyway. When you're in this space and you recognize love, peace, and family, shine anyway. Be who you are. And we speak this blessing as we recognize through the singing of our song that we are indeed all extensions of the same family. Let us go to the screen and close it out with love. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's a day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's a day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. And God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. We speak that the love of God, the infinite universe, the power of the cosmos, the ancestors rest, rule, rock, and abide with us henceforth from this place, now and forever. Let us sing together. Amen, amen. Hotel Shalom, Namaste, Ashe. We love you guys. That's a fact you cannot change. Let's get some popcorn, some fellowship, kick up the kids. And what an epic day. Same time next week for Yoga Sunday virtually. We'll see you soon.